Hey everybody, welcome to Kriss Packs Live. Today we have the epic November FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell will be live, as well as Q&A from the top finance news media in the country. All of that is going to be live. We start today with a little intro. Jerome Powell and the money printer. Is that what is happening? And typically, I'm only talking about Dogecoin, or mostly Dogecoin, but today is going to be more about Bitcoin because we just hit another all-time high. 5 minutes ago, we hit another all-time high for Bitcoin. And so we're going to be watching more of what Bitcoin does. We'll be checking in on Dogecoin at times, but Bitcoin just hit an all-time high. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're going to be on for a while. We got a lot of news and stuff to talk about before the actual Fed rate is announced and whether there is a rate cut. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at some other news and stuff going into the actual Powell comments, because he always gives a little speech and then he does a Q&A. So we're going to cover all of that in this afternoon's live stream. So welcome, everybody. The live stream today, I normally am not on at this hour. I know, I'm usually working. I took vacation. I took a vacation day today. Can you believe that? For this, to be here with you guys. That's right. To be here with you guys today, because this is going to be quite a day, I think. Again, Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high even before the Fed rate announcement is made. That's right. We just had a new all-time high. So it's already priced in, right? But we could have some really spicy action. Now, typically, the FOMC meetings are covered in crypto by Mr. Tom Crown, and I am usually having that on in the background because they're always a lot of fun. And so I would not be doing this today if Tom was actually doing his live stream during FOMC, because he's been doing it for years. But he's on an Emirates flight to Dubai right now to attend a conference in Dubai. And so he said he wasn't going to be able to do his typical live stream. And I said, hey, I will step in. So I am stepping in for Mr. Tom Crown today. I am not going to be doing these regularly. I invite everyone to watch Tom for his, because he has a lot of fun. They're very entertaining, the way Tom does them. And I will not even try to mimic what Tom does. However, what I will do is talk about predictions going into the Fed rate announcement. This is the Bitcoin chart here. We'll talk about the Fed rate announcement, which is going to be the decision right here at 1400. That's 2 o'clock East Coast time. And then a half an hour later, Powell is going to speak, and we will have that live as well. So we will be getting into all of that as we move forward towards 2 o'clock and the Fed rate decision. So let me drop down here in the corner and welcome everybody. Always give a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We'll have more people coming in, and we'll check in on the chatters as well. But we did just hit a Bitcoin all-time high. This is a 5-minute chart. We can actually zoom in a little more when we need to, when we get really spicy action going into the Fed rate decision. We'll even go to the 1 minute. But for now, we want to get a little bit of context. We'll keep it at 5 minutes. We did just have a new Bitcoin all-time high. Just happened 10 minutes ago, 76,500 $750 for one Bitcoin. 76,550. Absolutely amazing. And so there's a little bit of sell-off from that. Every time Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, there's always follows a little sell-off. Will this sell-off continue into the Fed rate decision? Or will we see a bounce and Fed rate decision will be seeing the price going up? Because that will determine what the price prediction will be for the next hour after that. So I will wait to do my price prediction from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock until we see the trend leading up to that 2 o'clock hour. Dogecoin right now, also following Bitcoin down. Again, Bitcoin is the big daddy, Bitcoin dominance, right? So Bitcoin is having a sell-off right now after just hitting an all-time high. And we're seeing other alts follow with sell-off. It's been a big day for Ethereum, ETH coming up to 2875. So ETH has been on a run. And also Cardano, that's right, Cardano finally broke 39 cents. It's been a while. So Cardano had a big run today. But again, because Bitcoin is having a little bit of a sell-off here at the moment because of this new all-time high, other alts are following. So that is the big picture. So let me check in on the early chatters here, and then we'll get into the predictive markets and what's going to happen this afternoon. So welcome everybody. Let me do one more little trick before we get everyone. Cover your ears because the money printer is about to run. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting for. Yes, the money printer is still running. We will get to Doge and the Department of Government Efficiency in a little bit because that may turn off the money printer. When is that going to happen? How is that going to happen? We'll see. We got to do something with the U.S. debt. We got to curtail it. We got to sharpen our pencils. We've got to reduce the bureaucracy. That's what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going to be doing, but that's not going to start until next year. Inauguration day is January 20th. So January 21st is going to be our target day. It's going to take a while for all of that to work out. But between now and then, the money printer is still on. It's still on. Yes, Ryan, we had to pull that clip out. We absolutely had to pull that clip out. So Mars is here. Duber in the house. The money printer does go burr. Yes, Mike, it does. Different than Tom, Mars. I'll say different than Tom. I cannot be a Tom Crown. I will not be a Tom Crown. He always has those fun little intros that he does. If you guys haven't seen him, next FOMC meeting, do check out Mr. Tom Crown and his live stream because he does have a lot of fun. So we will see how that goes. Hi, Brett. Hey, have you guys had enough of me this week? My normal live stream on Monday. We had the epic election night live stream on Tuesday. Then my Wednesday live stream. And here I am Thursday again going live. Yes, 4 days in a row. And we'll wrap it up on Friday. We'll wrap up the week with a 5th live stream for the week with our typical Dogecoin coverage plus AMA. Yes, we'll have a Friday AMA. What are we going to talk about this week during the AMA? We'll see. We will see about that. Matt is in the house. Good morning to you, Matt. Welcome, Ryan, in the house as well. And yes, you'll have to check out Tom's stream next time. I will not be competing with Tom Crown. He takes the crown, particularly on the FOMC live streams. Jerome Powell, Chirpow, he's got the whole thing set up. He does a great job. I'll steal a couple little things from his, like these lines that I have on the screen here. Yes, this is when we are awaiting the Fed rate decision here, this first vertical line. And then the second one is when Powell speaks. And as we get closer to that first line, I will make my prediction of how I think Bitcoin is going to trade from the Fed rate decision to when Powell starts speaking and then thereafter. But I need to see what the trend is going into that first. Right now, we're having a little sell-off. Again, Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high of $76,500. And we're having a little sell-off. We're having a sell-off right now. So I started because this is a big occasion, right? New Bitcoin all-time high. Wasn't surprising that we would have a little sell-off here. Don't want people to start freaking out like, oh God, Bitcoin is dropping. It's dropping. It's crashing. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. It's this. It's this little blip up here. This is nothing. This is nothing. So, but yes, we're zoomed in tight here on the 5-minute chart because we're going to have some spicy trading coming up. Typically we do with the Fed rate decision, which is why we are here. We will remember to Doge as well. What is my Tesla plan, Brad asks. Well, if you're talking about the stock, I still have my 200 shares of Tesla stock, and the Tesla price is looking pretty good. It did almost hit 300. It is now at 296. 296 for Tesla stock. It went up to 298 today. And that was because Elon is cleared of that stupid lawsuit when a number of years ago he said he was thinking of taking Tesla private or something like that. And I mean, Elon tweets what he tweets, right? But is he manipulating the market or anything like that? I don't know. That certainly would have been a good time to buy Tesla stock, though, right? It would have been. Joseph, thanks for reminding everybody. Hit the like button. You're welcome. Glad you could join in. We'll have more joining in on the stream as we get closer to this Fed rate decision and what is going to happen. But thank you. And if you're new here, I'm Kriss Pax. I cover a lot of Dogecoin, but I also cover Bitcoin, ETH, SUI, and other cryptos, what is going on in the crypto market. We also talk about stocks. We talk about finance, all of those things related here on this channel. So, welcome. Welcome. Frank, Doge is on the way, rocket fueling up. That is correct. Will Dogecoin go up again? Yes. Cheers, everybody. ADA sucks. Well, ADA is just getting started. 39-cent ADA. I mean, look at this chart now. Let's look at the 4-hour chart for Cardano. Look at that. Waking up right when ETH is waking up. Because ETH has been down. Cardano has been down. And now they're just starting to wake up. Is it time to do a long leverage trade on Cardano? Maybe. I don't trade leverage. I just do spot. But I do have a little bag of Cardano as well. So, I mean, look at the difference between Cardano's 4-hour chart here just going up, where Doge went up the night of the election and is now cooling off. So big difference in the charts. Big difference. Bitcoin, however, Bitcoin hitting new all-time high just 15, 20 minutes ago. New all-time high for Bitcoin. So that is what we are going to be watching. What is Bitcoin going to be doing between 2 and 3 o'clock? We will get into that in just a little bit. Yes, Ryan, I pull out a clip every now and then. Typically during live streams, I just forget about them. But I knew I had the Powell clip and had to run that today. So hope you enjoyed it. Hi, Jawad. How are you? CryptoPunk Doge baby, yes. Victor, you took off just to watch the live. Thank you. Thanks for the support, man. Thank you. Do you think mining Doge is worth it? Sean, I had a thing all lined up about Dogecoin mining. We'll get to that in a few minutes, okay? Because Dogecoin is going to be worth it. Mining Doge. ETH set to explode in 2025. Well, Ricardo, I would say explode is a relative term, right? Because it's not going to like do a Dogecoin, right? But I think ETH is going to have some good gains coming up, finally breaking out of this 2.5-year downtrend, particularly with its relationship to Bitcoin. The ETH Bitcoin pair is going to turn around. ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin as well. But I don't think it's going to outperform Doge. So we have that. The PAX Army going strong, Brian. Yes, thank you for the PAX supporters that are in the house. Anybody new coming in, welcome. I'm Kriss, and we cover crypto, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin. And today is kind of going to be more Bitcoin-centric, but we'll check in on the Doge as well. Hey, Noctis. Yeah, working overtime. I took a vacation day from my work day so I could be here with you guys. Normally, I've got meetings and stuff going on, and I'm doing that stuff. But today, I'm here for this, which is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, try watching the BTC chart on the 1 minute. Trades in billions of dollars. I know, right? You go to the 1 minute chart, and it's like, you see what's happening here. Decision is at 2 o'clock East Coast time, Rocky, 2 p.m. East Coast time, which I have right here on my chart coming up. This first white line here, I should actually thicken that line up a little bit, right? So you guys can see it. That big first dashed line. So you guys can see it better. There you go. All right, so that's the first line right there. And that is coming in about 45 minutes. We will have the Fed rate decision. We'll get to the predictive markets in just a minute. I want to get caught up with everyone here in the chat as well. Is it a good time to sell Doge in USD or sell in coin? Is it good to sell Doge in USD or sell in coin? From Robinhood. Pro, I'm not quite sure what you're asking here. You're in Robinhood, you own Doge on the Robinhood platform. If you sell, you go to USD, which is your buying power. So we'll look at that. We are not bullish enough. I know, Matthew, right? What was my video about this morning, right? What was my video about? We are not bullish enough. I agree. Thank you, Custy Girl. We are having fun here. I'm sure you're awesome as well. Thank you, Dylan. Pax in the house here. FOMC meeting. Well, the FOMC has been meeting yesterday and this morning. So they're going to have the Fed rate announcement here in about 40 minutes. And then Powell will speak a half hour after that. So that's what we're doing here on this live, is we're covering the Fed rate decision and the Powell comments plus the Q&A afterwards. And for those that watch Tom Crown's epic live streams during this, we will be looking for some key individuals. We have the Asian Gina, always nice to see her. The original Gina, Dina Smolik, is not, with the New York Times, she's not covering these anymore. She's moved on to another position. So the OG Gina is no longer there during the Powell announcements. So we have Asian Gina to look forward to, and whoever might else be in the house. So we'll be watching for that. The 8 ball is always here. And we will be asking the 8 ball just before the 2 o'clock time Dogecoin will rocket thanks to Trump and Elon, DOGE. Yes, we're going to cover that in a minute as well. Do you think Doge will have a big dip or stay strong? I am on the same staying strong bandwagon. I'm not expecting a huge dip. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Again, we just hit a new all-time high half an hour ago, new all-time high. We had a little sell-off, and look at Bitcoin just turning around, recovering right back up. Again, this is 5-minute time frame. We're zoomed in here. Price going back up. Doge moving back up as well to 19.5 cents, just like that. So this is the trading where we are right now. I won't sell my Doge coins until wife-changing gains happen. Doge to 5x to $1. Yeah, Joshua, it's been a busy week, but we're having fun, right? We're having fun. Jason's in the house. Welcome. Just get that name spelling correct. I appreciate that. Mike sold his XRP for Doge. Mike, congratulations. You get my utmost congratulations. Finally realizing what a stable coin XRP is. And we had fun the other night when Doge flipped XRP and CoinMarketCap, and it will flip it again soon. That is coming. Yes, I'm grinding. I am. Sean, thank you. Howdy, Toss. What effect will the rate cut have on Doge in the short term? It's going to follow Bitcoin. Doge is going to follow Bitcoin. At 2 o'clock, we get the Fed rate decision on the rate cut. We'll get into the news on that in just a minute. But the Fed rate cut, or rate decision, I should say, is it going to be a cut? Are they going to pause? Is it going to be 25 basis points? Or maybe 50 basis points? What? I want to watch, but I'm at work. Yeah, well, I took a vacation day for this, so I could actually do this. PH, always great. Jasmine's waking up as well. Jasmine just came over 2 cents. Finally, it's been a while. Jasmine. So what's Jasmine doing right now? 2.1. It's nice over 2.1. We did have the finally breaking above the blue line here, which was 2 cents. So I think Jasmine, it looks like the Japanese economy is starting to turn things around. And I think that will be good for Jasmine. Look at Doge moving up 19.6 now. Again, we're zoomed in, and Bitcoin is going to make a run for a new all-time high. So we have all of that happening this afternoon. This is wild. This is wild. I think we're going to see some big volume of trading coming up here. It's going to be wild. FOMC, fear of missing crypto. I like that, Matt. I like that. Snoopy will just be Snoopy. I can't confuse my Snoopy with the Doge. But nice idea. I will be selling my XRP for Doge as well when I get home. All right, Matt. Price prediction for Dogecoin end in November. Gene, I do have to look at that. Maybe that's something we'll look at tomorrow on Friday's stream, okay? Right now, I want to stick with FOMC today. So, and we'll get into Doge price predictions tomorrow, Aaron. So that'll be the Friday afternoon live stream. I go live at 4 o'clock on Fridays, 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. And I do Doge and AMA on Fridays. So we will cover, we'll cover all of our Dogecoin chances, price predictions, and all of that tomorrow. We will do that on Friday. All right. So it is important for this community to start talking about the architecture of Dogecoin and why it may hold its long-term value. And I am an architect too, Roger. So I like that word. I like to use that word, architecture. And I know a lot about how Dogecoin works and what its potential is that people are not recognizing. How huge Dogecoin will be. So we start here with the Fed Watch. I will refresh this so we get the latest Fed Watch tool. The next FOMC, it's not really a meeting, though the meeting is in, but the announcement of whether there's going to be a rate cut or not is going to be made in 33 minutes. And the predictive market right now is, they're guessing there's a 98.9% chance that there's going to be a 25 basis point cut in rates. There is a 1% chance that it pauses. Now, 1 hour ago, there was a 1% chance there was going to be a 50 basis point cut. And now that has flipped back over to a 1% chance that there's a pause, but still 99% that there's going to be 25 basis points. Now, a week ago, it was 5% pause. A month ago, it was 15% pause. So it's gone from 15% a month ago to 5% a week ago to now 1% chance of a pause. So 99%. Now, what's Polymarket saying? Let's do a refresh on Polymarket. Fed interest rates. 98% of a 25 basis point. 1% of a 50, 2% for no change or pause. That is what Polymarket is saying. So you see this purple line up here. That's like the betting market is agreeing, 98% betting that there is a 25 basis point. Now, we all know what happened with Polymarket with the US presidential race. Polymarket was clearly on the Trump side all along, while the so-called polls were showing Harris ahead. The betting market won, didn't it? The betting market, people actually putting their money down. The predictive market with money did better than the polls in the voting for US president. So now here we are looking at this rate cut, and that's where the betting is. It's at for this 25 basis point cut. So the Fed is set to cut rates, boosting the outlook for crypto. That's right. As well as Trump's victory, the digital asset industry can also expect an easier monetary environment. That's right. This is all very bullish for crypto. And I know that sounds kind of bullish on crypto, but I mean, come on. Look what's happening. Bitcoin moving up again for the next new all-time high. And in fact, I've got to take this line and I need to move it up because we just hit a new all-time high there. And that was 76,550 officially. Is our new all-time high Bitcoin that we just hit about 45 minutes ago. So we'll see whether we will get yet another new all-time high coming up with this rate decision. So very bullish. Federal funds rate is headed lower. Yesterday saw a huge shift in the investing landscape. Donald Trump elected president, pro-Bitcoin, and he said he's going to have a Bitcoin crypto committee that is going to talk about proper regulation of crypto, which will be good. It's embraced by most in crypto. That's what we need. So we get out of this mess we've had with Gary Gensler and the SEC using the courts, suing these different crypto companies and exchanges over very ambiguous rules and regulations. So that is all looking good. We also have the major indices on stocks, S&P 500 and NASDAQ, all going higher. That's right. They're all going higher. So we have that. Bitcoin Archive said, just in 76,000 Bitcoin. Well, Gary is like, shush up. Shush up, Crypto Rand says. Shut up, Gary. You're going to be out of a job. And 100K is coming. That's right. 100K Bitcoin is coming. And I said the other night during the election live stream, it's going to be in December. By the end of this year, we are going to have $100,000 of Bitcoin. That's what I think is going to be coming. But we continue. We have Moonvember still. And yes, somebody just asked, what is my price prediction for Dogecoin for November? And it's already exceeded. In 5 days, it already exceeded my price prediction. And now I'm feeling more bullish. Moonvember, look what happened. 2013, 2017, 2021, all had bullish, following again, 4-year cycles, 2012 into 2013, 2016 into 2017, 2020 into 2021. This is what Bitcoin has done in 4-year cycles. Now here we are in November of 2024. Why would you doubt that this is coming? Well, we just hit a new all-time high. Another new Bitcoin all-time high, and we haven't even had the Fed rate decision yet. And look at Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. Did you hear my notifications going off? Did you hear those little bells? You know what those are? Those are the shorts getting wrecked. That's what that is. Shorts getting wrecked. Bitcoin yet to another new all-time high. Right here live during the Kriss FOMC live stream. We can now take that yellow line and we can move it up to 76,730. That looks like the number right there. 76,730 is now the new Bitcoin all-time high. And I can take my little white circle here and move it up there, because that's now the new all-time high for Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin going to do over the next hour and a half? What is it going to do? That's why we're here live, to watch that. So still have about 10 more minutes before I make my prediction, because I want to see what the trend is going into 2 o'clock when the Fed rate decision will officially be made. Will Trump's Bitcoin reserve ignite a global FOMC, a global FOMO race? That's right. A lot of talk about all that Bitcoin that the US government holds. The Harris administration or Biden administration sold off some of it for some reason over the summer. And everyone was thinking that was going to be some slap in the face to Trump, because Trump said, remember what he said at the Bitcoin conference? I'm not going to touch the Bitcoin stockpile. It's going to become a Bitcoin reserve, which takes all that Bitcoin essentially out of circulation with no worries, at least for 4 years. At least for 4 years. And then we see what happens. But having this national Bitcoin reserve is a huge thing for the United States. And again, Gary Gensler, is he out of a job? Yep, he will be out of a job. So this is all very, very good for crypto. And then we had a question earlier about Dogecoin mining. One of the things that's happening now is the Bitcoin mining difficulty is hit 100 trillion for the first time. Here is what I think is going to happen. it's going to get to the point where the Bitcoin mining difficulty is going to get so high that miners are going to start looking for alternatives. See, Ryan, that's why I put Gary Gensler as my new emoji. Exactly. So you could do the Gary heads. And then in January, we'll get rid of the Gary heads and we'll replace it with something else. What I think is going to happen is miners are going to discover that maybe mining Dogecoin is going to be more profitable than mining Bitcoin. That's right. Mining Dogecoin is going to be more profitable. That is what is coming for Doge. And why do I say that? The Department of Government Efficiency, guys, Doge, it is coming. It is coming. And then we had this post from Chamath, the all-in podcast guy, right? There's Trump. There's Elon with his black Make America Great Again hat on, right? He'll be in the White House, and Chamath just said, Doge. So the poll that these all-in podcast guys have, Jason mentioned it on last week's all-in podcast. He mentioned Doge. Now Chamath is posting about Doge. This from the all-in gang, together with Dogecoin's possible integration onto X, could lead Dogecoin to becoming much more recognized worldwide than it already is. And when that happens, guys, look out for Doge. That is what is coming. We will be talking more about this tomorrow, but I just wanted to put this out there because it just happened today. This is big. This is huge. But we do want to turn our attention back to Bitcoin, and new all-time high was just set, and we're about to eclipse it yet again, leading into the 2 o'clock Fed rate decision. This is a 5-minute chart. We're getting closer and closer. When we get to the Fed rate decision, we will see how Bitcoin and others are trading. We will check in on the S&P 500, which is kind of going down at the moment. We have the NASDAQ flattened out. NASDAQ is flattened out. We've got gold kind of going sideways, and we've got the Dixie kind of down. Yep, the DXY is kind of down and now going sideways. So we will be looking on all of those right after 2 o'clock, of course, as well as what is happening with Dogecoin. Dogecoin is also moving up into the Fed rate decision, as is Bitcoin. And then once we get to 2:30, we will be watching live Powell. We will see what Powell has to say at that time. So we got a lot of fun in store for this live stream. I now need to take a minute to post on X. I got to do a post here, guys, so bear with me to announce this live stream because I forgot to do it. I was much too busy getting ready for this, and I need to put this in now live on YouTube, covering the upcoming Fed rate cut and Jerome Powell speech and Q&A. and A only this time because at Tom Crown is traveling and can't do it this time. Link to live stream. Okay. We will be looking at Bitcoin and Dogecoin charts live as well. Okay. I just posted that on X. There we go. And now I can close that out. And we will check in on what is going on with all of that. So how's everybody doing? What's going on, guys? We've got a few more minutes before I make my prediction for the next hour of trading. Matt says, I need to remake that song, I need $1 into I need a Dogecoin. Chapow. That's right, Rocky. Chapow. Dogevember. I like that. Dogevember. You got to make the decision about buying Doge. I cannot tell you. Yes, those ringing bells are normally music to your ears, but those bells also ring when leveraged longs are getting liquidated, when the price is going down. So, I'm looking hardware for it now. I'm going to buy some so I can start mining. Yeah, and I was looking at ant miners a couple years ago, and I mean the payback, because you have the price of the rig and then you have your increased electricity costs, and you put that price together, and it would have been like 2 years before I broke even, based on the calculations. You can go online and you can do calcs based on your electricity rate. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. I have some of the highest electricity rates in the country here in Boston. So if you're in like New Mexico or somewhere where Texas, somewhere where it's really cheap, then you'll probably do better on mining. But I looked at it a couple of years ago up here, and it just wasn't worth it for me to do mining. I would love to do it just to support the coin, but you're losing money, losing money here. But I don't know. Something I may consider once we get through this bull run and see what happens with Doge, and then I might do it. But not right now. I'm not into the into the Doge mining right now. So would you say if you have the opportunity to buy Bitcoin, would you? Yes, everybody should have some Bitcoin. Everybody should have some Bitcoin in your portfolio. I believe in a balanced portfolio. I know some people only have Doge. Doge is all they have. But no, I'm not retired, Pavel. I'm on vacation today. I took a vacation day today so I could do this because I'm normally working. I'm still a working guy, just like you guys. Got my paycheck, every month. But trying to make that notch up, right, to that better financial position here. And that's what we're looking for over this next 6 to 12 months. Is like, this is the time we've been waiting for. We've been slogging through the bear market, right? Slogging through the bear market for almost 3 years. And now this is the payoff. This is what we've been waiting for. And it's an exciting time. Hopefully we don't get too euphoric, right? Too overly optimistic about all of this. But I mean, the charts are looking really good right now in the whole economic, landscape, especially here in the United States around crypto, is all so positive. So Yeah. BTC going to 78. It could today. KB made it. Welcome. Glad to see you. Will the Trump victory influence the FOMC decision? Well, they will say it didn't. And somebody will ask that, I'm sure, at 2:30 or 2:45 when the Q&A starts. Somebody's going to ask that question. And Powell is going to say no. But does it? I think the 25 basis point cut is already priced in. That's what everybody is expecting. So, and what is the 25 basis point cut going to do for the market? So let's take a look at this. Here's my prediction, guys. Right? Let's take a look at this. This is what I've been waiting for. We're now at 147. We've got 13 more minutes. So first we have what is the trend going into the Fed rate decision. And the trend is generally up, right? So there's your trend. Your trend line is up. We just hit a new Bitcoin all-time high. So I'm guessing we may level out a bit here, but the trend is still up. Typically what we would see is once the decision rate is done, we would see Bitcoin go down in price. We will probably retrace down. Could we break below 76K? Maybe. But then what happens? Powell starts speaking, and then we see the rate or the price then start to come back up. Now, it won't be a straight line like this. It'll be more up and down, but that's generally what we see during these events is you've got a trend line up going into the rate decision, then buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So we buy the rumor going into the rate decision, then we sell the news. Rate decision is made, price goes down. Again, this isn't financial advice, guys, but if I was a trader, if I was like a day trader, this is what I would be doing. This is what I'd be doing. I'd be shorting from 2 o'clock to 2:30, and then I would close out my short position, and then I would enter a long again. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not trading it because I don't do that. I am spot long crypto. I'm not playing games. I'm doing a little swing trading on stocks still, but not crypto. I've been accumulating crypto for 4 years. Since that 2-cent Dogecoin that I first bought in early 2021. So almost 4 years. And it's all waiting for this next 3 to 12 months when I'm going to be taking a lot of profits. It's all building towards this. 2013 highs, 2017 highs, 2021 highs. What's next? 2025. That's what I've been building all of this towards. Now, could it be wrong? There's nothing guaranteed that that's actually going to happen. But right now, I'm going to come down to the 1 minute. Well, let's look at the 3 minute. What does the 3 minute look like? Yeah, we might just do 3 minutes here. Because that might be a better view once we start with Powell, who will be up over here. When he starts speaking, he's going to be right there. And then we can see the charts a little better. 3 minute chart. Never looked at a 3 minute chart before, but there we go. Oh, look at that. About to break it again. About to break it again. New all-time high, just about. Wow. Here we go. Chapow. Hi, Hassan. How are you? Ismail from the Netherlands. Welcome. Toss, if BTC is at 150, ETH is at 10, what market cap and rate would Doge be? We'll do that tomorrow, Toss, okay? We'll do that tomorrow. I can't, too much going on today, and we're really talking more about Bitcoin. We'll cover all that Doge tomorrow. So ask me on Friday's live stream, okay? Ask me on tomorrow's live stream. And I'll cover other cryptos tomorrow too, okay? Do you think when we break the 20 level, the bull run will last 4 to 6 months? You know, Dogecoin kind of goes on its own at times. So we will see. Victor, if your boss is following you, you can't even call out sick. I know. That's why I officially took the vacation day instead of calling out sick, right? I was just like, what if somebody just happened to say, oh, Kriss is on a live stream on YouTube. He's not sick. So I was like, okay, I will do a vacation day. It's not just the USA cutting interest rates, worldwide thing, except for Japan. Japan better not raise again. That would be disaster for Japan. That whole carry trade thing with the Japanese yen would just cause a huge disruption again. So, yeah. You're holding Doge and you still have your XRP. I know what everyone says about XRP, but I'm risking it. Only 10%. Okay, well, you've got a small bit of XRP. That's okay. There are still some XRP army moon boys out there who own a crap ton of XRP, and they have missed out on this whole bull run so far. They've totally missed out on the whole bull run so far. Holding XRP. That's crazy. That's crazy. Doge 1954. ETH 2882. ETH went up a bit higher. And Cardano we're watching as well. See if Cardano can get up to 40 cents. It's kind of flattening out a little right now. Anything else moving at the moment? Crow token. For those who are Kronos fans, we got some movement in Crow. Aave has been flattening out. It went up yesterday. Pretty big. Pepe at 10.5, moving up a bit as well. Let's check in on the Dixie, DXY, still flat. Going into the Fed rate decision, gold coming down a little bit. Dow Jones, flat. NASDAQ, flat. S&P 500, up a little bit. So again, it looks like it's going up. Generally, is the trend going into the Fed rate decision, which is in 5 minutes. So, who's speaking today? What is this about? Kilmar asks. This is the Fed rate decision on whether the United States is going to lower interest rates, and that is big because lowering interest rates essentially frees up more money that can be used for investing, borrowing, building things. It's generally seen as a good thing. So that's what we're expecting, is the a 25 basis point rate cut. We will check again on Polymarket, see if there's anything different. Let's update here on Polymarket. Looks like the no change went from 2% to 1%. So that rounded down. So even less than half an hour ago when we last checked on Polymarket, still a 98% chance that it's going to be this 25 basis point reduction in just 5 minutes. So that is coming. That is coming. Yeah, Japan's interest rates were near zero, and they raised it a little bit, and it caused these shock waves all around the world, but they were near zero. So I have crypto fever. Solana moving today. What is Solana doing? Oh, wow, 197. Solana is almost back to $200. Look at Solana go. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Whiskey. Appreciate it. Election night was fun. This one, another special event live stream, is fun. But I won't normally do these because I save this with Tom Crown. This is the Tom Crown show normally, but Tom not able to be live today. So I'm doing this one today. So glad you could join in. Tim, we'll talk about Jasmine tomorrow, okay? I don't want to get into all these price predictions of other things. So tomorrow's live stream, 4 o'clock. I'll be live tomorrow. And we can get into more Doge, Jasmine, and other price predictions. Okay. Thank you, Stress Relief. Appreciate everyone. Give a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I appreciate the support, and you can always join the channel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. If you join the channel, you get to use these fun emojis that you see in the chat, the fun Doge emojis, Elon, Gary Gensler, and even the Chris Pax noggin as well. So, and if you join the channel, you will be getting Dogecoin from me. Yes, I am doing a Dogecoin giveaway where all of my channel members are going to get Dogecoin from me. I'll be giving it away. I'm giving away 75,000 Dogecoin from our Chris Pax DCA portfolio. Yes, we made this portfolio. I put in $10,000. It's now at 26,400. And there's 75,000 Dogecoin here that I'm giving away to you guys. I'm keeping this other stuff, the Bitcoin, the Jasmine, Stacks, Sheep, ETH. There's even a little XRP in here. And gee, look at that. All of these are in the green on profit and loss, except one of them. Wonder which one that is. Which one of these is not green? One of these is not like the other. That would be XRP. Yes, XRP is in the red and everything else is in the green. But you guys wanted some XRP into this portfolio, and so we bought some. And there it is. What can I say? What can I say? All right, here we have 1 more minute till the Fed rate decision. We are here going into 2 o'clock. We've had an uptrend generally, and I'm believing that we're probably going to have a downtrend. So let's put this about where that would be going into the decision rate. And that's kind of what I expect to see here, is we would see some kind of, over the next half hour, the price is probably going to drift down a bit, and then we're going to go up. It's not going to be straight, though. It's going to go up and down. We'll see if there's a lot of volatility. Right now, I think because it's all generally kind of priced in already, this meeting is probably not going to be as volatile as past ones. But we will see. That's why we are here. So let us go to home. It's now 2 o'clock. Who is going to be the first on X to show the 25 basis point cut that we think is going to happen? Who's going to be the first? Who's going to be the first? Because it's now 2 o'clock. Some of these guys who post here, they're immediately on it. Let's see how quick they are. Ben Cowan. Oh, Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets is first. Vote in favor of policy was unanimous. Walter. Nope. Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge was first. Nope. Unusual Whales. Watcher Guru. Walter Bloomberg. Walter Bloomberg won by 1 second over Watcher Guru. Look at that. Walter wins by 1 second over Watcher Guru. And Unusual Whales was third, 3 seconds behind. That's how quick these guys are, you know? That's how quick these guys are. So Walter wins, Watcher Guru in second place, Unusual Whales in third, Zero Hedge in fourth. So that's how it worked out on X. I wanted to see that, just to see who got it first. And it's Walter. So what's happening with the price? Exactly. Look what's happening. Once the Fed rate decision is made, price goes down. That's right. And I needed to, sorry, I didn't get my line moved down to where my prediction was. Right there. So that is completely expected. The trend going into the Fed rate decision was going to be up. And then once the decision is made, we would see price go down. And that is what is happening. That's an easy call. That's an easy call. Again, I would have, if I was day trading this, I would have opened up a short position at 159 and I'd be making money right now on this going down. But I am not a day trader like that. The stress would just totally like overwhelm me. It would totally overwhelm me. I couldn't do it. Even with a small bit of money, I'm just like, no, I'm too conservative for that. I mean, because what if this whole thing just turns around and it goes up higher and we hit yet another all-time high? Which it looks like we did. We went up to 70. We hit an all-time high. At 158, we hit a new all-time high, guys. I missed that. 76,780. We hit an all-time high. Look at that. I totally missed that. I was so busy trying to get caught up on everything else. We hit a new all-time high at 158. We hit a new all-time high. That's awesome. I actually should just change the color of this thing so we can differentiate that. We'll just make that green because that is good. Green is good. That's just circling the new Bitcoin all-time high. And now look what's happening. Exactly as predicted, guys. Price going down. As predicted. I should be a billionaire, right? I should be a billionaire. So we're gonna watch this going into 2:30, and then at 2:30 we're gonna have Powell live giving his statements. We'll listen in on that, and then there'll be Q&A after that, which we've already figured out. One of the questions is going to be based on Trump winning the election and if that had any influence on the decision, of which Powell is going to say no. So we know that. This is all predicted. It's all predicted. And here we have Bitcoin going down. I'm guessing S&P is going down. Yes. S&P was up to 59.80 into the Fed rate decision. It's now down to 59.70. NASDAQ kind of going sideways, still flattened out. Dow Jones down a little. Gold down a little. And the DXY up. Look at that. Exactly. Because the DXY is inverse. DXY jumped up. Exactly as predicted. Where's Dogecoin? Down. As predicted. So that is what is going on. I do have a stock portfolio. My largest holding is Tesla. I've had Apple stock for a long time. Not a lot, but I've held it for a long time. I currently own Coinbase stock as well, and I own MicroStrategy. I used to own DJT. I bought the Trump stock at the end of September, and I rode it up into election day. I did one swing trade. From 50 to 40. And then, of course, it dropped down into the 30s, but then rallied election morning back up over 40, and I sold it. I sold it at $40.42. And I know election night, it went up to like $44, $45 after market, but then completely dumped and is now trading at $28. So selling at 40 was a good thing. That was a good thing because now it's down at $28. Will I buy back into DJT? I don't know. Right now, that cash is sitting there. It's in my buying power. This is in my stock portfolio. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to buy back in. I'm going to buy something, but I haven't figured out what that is yet. I was looking at CleanSpark, maybe Riot Mara, but those mining stocks all went up. Look at Bitcoin recovering back after the dip. Look at that strong buying, bringing it right back up. That is awesome. That is, oh, look at that. Bullish engulfing. If Bitcoin makes a new all-time high before 230, then it's like, guys, to the moon. Just look out. Absolutely look out. But again, my prediction is typically we have seen a continuing downtrend going into the Powell speech. It's typically what we have seen. Whew. A lot of people will be left holding if they're waiting for 400K Bitcoin. I would guess more around 100K top. So on this channel, as we go forward through November into December, we're going to be talking about profit-taking strategies because that's going to be the big thing. There's already people saying, I'm not selling anything until, you know, this coin is at this dollar amount or that coin's at that dollar amount. And it's like, I played that game in 2021 with Dogecoin. I wasn't selling until Doge was $1. It peaked at 73 cents, fell back. I'm still holding all of that Dogecoin today. Yes, 3.5 years later, I still have all of that Dogecoin plus more that I've bought over the past couple of years. I'm taking profits this time. And we're going to be talking about different strategies for profit taking. And I will tell you guys when I'm doing my sales in those strategies. So, yep, Rob, exactly. I did the same thing, held just like you. Particularly with Doge, because there was just so much out there. Doge to $1, Doge to $1, everything that Elon was doing. And it was just like, that was crazy. That was crazy. Right. Average in and take profits on the way up. And it's like, well, Kriss, why would you sell Dogecoin at 35 cents if you know it's going to 75? What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? You don't know what Doge is going to do. So you take profits on the way up, just like our DC woodworking guy is saying. Exactly. You book some of those profits. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that catastrophic. We don't talk about that. My advice is to stay away from those tokens. Just stay away. Let's see what else is going on. Doge recovered a little bit. ETH recovering a little bit. Cardano didn't drop as much. Cardano is holding up very strong now, and Solana as well. So not as much action percentage-wise, more on Bitcoin and Doge than we see with Solana, ETH, and Cardano. S&P 500, actually pretty flat as well. Again, we had that big volume right there at the Fed rate decision, but now it's just flattening back out. I think the fireworks are over. NASDAQ went up. Dow Jones settled back. Gold is now settling. It went down and now sideways. And the DXY went up and now settling. So I think the fireworks are kind of over here until 2:30. And we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin is, look at this move Bitcoin is making. That is strong. Look at that move. It is just turning around and it's saying, no, I'm not going to play Kriss's game. I'm not going to keep going down for half an hour. I'm going to turn around. That is some strong trading right there for Bitcoin. Look at that. It's just going right back up. Moreno's in the house. How are you? Yeah, Doge went down a little bit harder than Bitcoin on the drop, which is expected, but now Doge is turning back around. So that's good. It'll be back up over 19.5 cents. So not worried about Doge. And Bitcoin's back up over 76.6. And the new Bitcoin all-time high was just hit at 158 just 15 minutes ago. $76,780 was the new Bitcoin all-time high right there. And Bitcoin could be making another run for yet another new all-time high. This is some really strong trading. Hassan put 10,000 on Apple, 2 times split, made good money, still holding. Yeah, I went through one of those splits. I also went through a MicroStrategy split. I had 4 shares of MicroStrategy that turned into 40, and then I added 10 more after the dip post-split. So I now got 50 shares of MicroStrategy. So I played the split game on MicroStrategy. Prajwal, how are you? What are the requirements to mine crypto? You need more than just a regular computer. Even a gaming computer is not enough. You need a heavy GPU. Look up Antminer. That's one to look up. You need an ASIC card for Doge. You need high power. I tried mining with just a gaming computer, and I was getting like maybe a Doge a day, 1 Doge. And at that time, it was about at like 6 or 7 cents. And it was costing me more, probably in my extra electricity costs, but to get that fraction. It was even a fraction of a Doge. It wasn't even 1 Doge. It was like a fraction of a Doge per day. And I was like, yeah. And then I looked at how much those ASIC miners were, and it was just like, no, thousands of dollars, to get a good one. And it's like, oh. But I don't know, next year might take a look into it. Can we see liquidation chart? Sure, F1. Let's see what's going on with liquidations. So that will be CoinGlass, liquidation data. See what's going on. In the last hour, we've had shorts getting wrecked on Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and Doge. Those are the big losers, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, in the last hour. Of course, we'd heard the dings going on, right? While the shorts were getting wrecked. And we can take a look at the liquidation heat map. And we can see on Bitcoin where the big leverage is. So down here at 74K, we've got a lot of long leverage. Do you think Bitcoin is going to drop down into the 74 range to take out these leveraged longs down here? Or is Bitcoin just on its own path going to keep going higher? The next shorts to take out are at 76.9, and there's some long tail short positions that are still open at 76.9 right there. So that's what we see on the heat map right now. 76.9. Interesting. Yeah. Cardano still holding 39 cents, but we're seeing a little pullback again. But if Bitcoin starts stair-stepping up, that'd be okay. We'll take that. We'll take that. Dogecoin as well, but Dogecoin is down just a little bit more. Again, we're zoomed in. We're on a 3-minute chart. This is a 3-minute chart. We can go to the 1-minute chart, get in even deeper what's going on. We're zoomed in. If your parents are paying the power bill, will they notice? Right? Will they notice? Hey, Rob, why did our electricity costs go up so much this month? And what's that humming noise in your room? Actually, those ant miners, you need a 220 outlet. You can't just plug it into a regular wall outlet. You need a 220. You need more power. So, just saying. SPX hit 59.70. 59.75 is where we are. 59.75. Who are the movers right now? Because right now we've got a dip going on. Doge is dipping a little bit. Bitcoin dipping. Again, this was as expected, right? As expected. This was my prediction, right? And so we had a little recovery here, but now coming back into the pattern. Totally expected, guys. Don't freak out. We're zoomed in real close. Let's see what's happening in overall crypto over the last hour. What's moving? Aerodrome is up. Goat is up. Mantle, Mog, Popcat, Pendle, Mew, Crow. We looked at Crow earlier. And Chainlink. And ETH is still holding strong. So that's what's going on. Whoa, look at Bitcoin going down now. Again, totally as predicted, guys. Totally as predicted. This was the trend going in to the Fed rate announcement was up, and so predicted Bitcoin would drop down. And then once we get Powell speaking here in 10 minutes, we will join Powell, and I think we are going to see price slowly start to recover. This is a pattern we have seen again and again for FOMC meetings. And it is playing out pretty much per the pattern. ETH is holding better. Cardano still holding 39 cents. Solana 195. So those are all holding well. Doge dipped a little bit more, a little bit harder. But again, when Doge goes up, it's going to go up at a higher percentage. And that's what we expect to see with Doge. Again, I'm zoomed in really close here. So because we're watching this more immediate price action here, particularly for the FOMC between 2 o'clock and 2:30. And in 9 minutes, we will be watching live Jerome and his press conference. And we'll be watching and seeing how the markets respond to what Powell has to say live. I know those are some long shorts out there at 76.9. There's some long shorts out there, and they will get taken out. Absolutely, F1. We will. I'm just going to call you F1 now. Mr. USA is good, but I'll just call you F1. I get profit taking, but not when you believe in something. Well, yeah, you can believe in it. I believed Dogecoin was going to hit $1 in May of 2021. I believed, and it didn't get there. So all of the profit that I made on that Dogecoin I bought was on paper, so to speak, right? Unrealized gains, because I didn't sell any of it. This time, I'm doing a different strategy. We'll be layering out step by step because we don't know what's going to happen. Elon is supposed to speak on a show in Houston very soon. Yeah, we'll check in on that at maybe at the end, right? Once Powell's done with his Q&A, maybe we'll check in, see what else is going on. But really want to concentrate this more on the task at hand here. So the task at hand is this current price action here, and see whether it actually dips below 76 as I predicted for Bitcoin. Will I buy Doge again after the bear market? Probably. I will not be buying Dogecoin in 2026. So we will see about 2027. SHIB. I talk about SHIB a lot on the channel. I do own a small bag of SHIB. I am expecting SHIB to go on some crazy run sometime in 2025. I don't know when it's going to be, but I've got a bag of it this time because in 2021, I was anti-SHIB and missed out on huge gains. I knew about SHIB before it went crazy. But because I was such a Dogecoin fanatic and I wasn't just thinking about dollars, I was like, no, I'm not buying that shit. And it made people into multimillionaires. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some money on SHIB this time. So I bought some SHIB. So yeah, during my live streams, my normal live streams, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do cover many cryptos. So join in. Well, fear Paul, that was because it was SHIB, right? Derek says, I feel I don't have enough SHIB. If SHIB goes on a crazy run like it did on 2021, nobody is going to have enough SHIB. Everyone's going to wish that they had bought more. All right, we're 5 minutes away from Powell. Please, everybody, hit the like button. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. I do have some affiliate links here to Coinbase, Robinhood, and Ledger. Yes, I use a Ledger. This is my Nano S Plus that I use. And I completely support and approve the use of a crypto hardware wallet. Don't keep all your crypto sitting on exchanges. You never know what's going to happen. Self-custody. You own the crypto if it's on your wallet. Check out the link below for Ledger if you're interested in checking out crypto hardware. Again, I also have links to Robinhood and Coinbase. I'm here in the United States, so with KYC and all of that, these are the two exchanges that I do my trading on. I'm doing much more crypto trading now on Coinbase, and stock trading on Robinhood is what I'm doing, just because of the bid and the ask price on Robinhood. But I think they're being more transparent now about like where the prices are. And then I also have this for CryptoTab. Yes, I do also use the CryptoTab browser. And the more you use that browser, the more Bitcoin dust. Yes, you get dust, but it's Bitcoin. And it's essentially free Bitcoin for using a browser that you would normally use anyway when you're on your computer or on your phone as well. Yes, there's a CryptoTab app as well. So use my link to join CryptoTab browser as well. Appreciate the support. I also have a merch store for those that are interested in Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. I have a link to the merch store as well. I've got some Dogecoin and Bitcoin goodies in my merch store. So if you're interested in starting to think about Christmas, check out the merch store. Appreciate that. End of my shilling. Because we've got something more important here, and that is going to be,
and click on About the Fed.
The press conference. Because it's starting in about a minute and a half. And Bitcoin is trading back up already. Hey, Vince, how are you? Thank you for the support. Abracadabra, longtime holder, scared to sell because this rally should be different. 4-year cycle does not apply. Right now, the 4-year cycle is playing out exactly like it should. I'm not worried. That's all I can tell you. What I'm doing, what I think, I'm not worried. Okay? We're just waiting for this to start. Hello, hello. Looks like we traded up and then back down again, going into the press conference. You're not worried? You just said you were scared. Oh, you're scared to sell. I get it. Okay, we're waiting for Powell to start talking.
The labor market has cooled from its formerly overheated state and remains solid.
We got it.
Inflation has eased substantially from a peak of 7% to 2.1% as of September. We are committed to maintaining our economy's strength by supporting maximum employment, and returning inflation to our 2% goal. Today, the FOMC decided to take another step in reducing the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by 1/4 percentage point. We continue to be confident that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength in the economy and the labor market can be maintained, with inflation moving sustainably down to 2%. We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace. GDP rose at an annual rate of 2.8% in the third quarter, about the same pace as in the second quarter. Growth of consumer spending has remained resilient, and investment in equipment and intangibles has strengthened. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has been weak. Overall, improving supply conditions have supported the strong performance of the U.S. economy over the past year. In the labor market, conditions remain solid. Payroll job gains have slowed from earlier in the year, averaging 104,000 per month over the past 3 months. This figure would have been somewhat higher were it not for the effects of labor strikes and hurricanes on employment in October. Regarding the hurricanes, let me extend our sympathies to all the families, businesses, and communities who have been harmed by these devastating storms. The unemployment rate is notably higher than it was a year ago, but it has edged down over the past 3 months and remains low at 4.1% in October. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs to workers gap has narrowed. Overall, a broad set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are now less tight than just before the pandemic in 2019. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years. Total PCE prices rose 2.1% over the 12 months ending in September, excluding the volatile food and energy categories. Core PCE prices rose 2.7%. Overall, inflation has moved much closer to our 2% longer run goal, but core inflation remains somewhat elevated. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. We see the risks to achieving our employment and inflation goals as being roughly in balance.
Bitcoin still
We're
holding.
attentive to the risks to both sides of our mandate. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by 1/4 percentage point to 4.5% to 4.75%.
As expected.
This further recalibration of our policy stance will help maintain the strength of the economy and the labor market, and will continue to enable further progress on inflation as we move toward a more neutral stance over time. We know that reducing policy restraint too quickly could hinder progress on inflation. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too slowly could unduly weaken economic activity and employment. In considering additional adjustments to the target range for the federal funds rate, the committee will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook,
Data.
balance of risks.
Drink.
We are not on any preset course. We will continue to make our decisions.
To drink.
meeting
Every
by
time he
meeting.
says data.
As the economy evolves, monetary policy will adjust in order to best promote our maximum employment and price stability goals. If the economy remains strong and inflation is not sustainably moving toward 2%, we can dial back policy restraint more slowly. If the labor market were to weaken unexpectedly, or inflation were to fall more quickly than anticipated, we can move more quickly. Policy is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties that we face in pursuing both sides of our dual mandate. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation
I agree.
expectations
Labor
well anchored.
market, not solid.
Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you. Given the expectation that the election outcome will produce policies that would meaningfully impact the U.S. economy next year, how is the committee taking these proposals into account for upcoming decisions, including potentially the next one in December? And can you give us any more sense of how proactive or reactive the Fed is prepared to be to changes in economic policy?
She's got a wedding ring on too.
Sure. So let me say that in the near term, the
Sorry,
election will
Darth
have
Mike.
no effects on our policy decisions. As you know, many things affect the economy, and anyone who writes down forecasts in their job will tell you that the economy is quite difficult to forecast looking out past the very near term. Here, we don't know what the timing and substance of any policy changes will be. We therefore don't know what the effects on the economy would be, specifically whether and to what extent those policies would matter for the achievement of our goal variables, maximum employment and price stability. We don't guess, we don't speculate, and we don't assume. Now, just in principle, it's possible that any administration's policies or policies put in place by Congress could have economic effects that over time that would matter for our pursuit of our dual mandate goals. So we
wait till you see Gina.
Forecasts of those economic effects.
Wait till you see Gina.
The economy and would be taken into account through that channel.
An Asian Gina. Wait.
Chair Powell, Nick Timrose from the Wall Street
Hi,
Journal. Roughly 1 year ago, when the 10-year Treasury was flirting with 5% and 30-year mortgage rates were near 8%, you noted how higher borrowing costs, if they were sustained, could weigh on economic activity. Given that you've said you believe policy is restrictive and the Fed is now dialing back that restriction, are the growth risks presented by higher U.S. Treasury yields today any different from those you identified 1 year ago when inflation was still meaningfully above your target?
So I would just say this: we've watched the run up in bond rates, and it's nowhere near where it was, of course, a year ago. I guess the long bond rates are well below that level. So we're watching that. Things have been moving around, and we'll see where they settle.
Bitcoin going sideways.
It's too early to really say where they settle.
Everything else still
ultimately
relatively stable.
I'm sure we've all read these decompositions of what and I certainly have, but it's not really our job to provide our specific decomposition. I will say though that it appears that the
someday, Brad,
not principally
they will all
inflation
hold
expectations. They're really
Dogecoin.
About a sense of more likelihood of stronger growth and perhaps less in the way of downside risks. So that's what they're about. We do take financial conditions into account if they're persistent and if they're material. Then we'll certainly take them into account in our policy. But I would say we're not at that stage right now. It's just something that we're watching. And again, these things don't really have mainly to do with Fed policy, but to do with other factors in the economy.
If I could follow up, is the September SEP, are those rate projections still valid? Do they still seem relevant given where we are now?
It's you get halfway through the cycle between the last set and the next set. I wouldn't want to comment one way or the other. Let's talk about the data we've gotten since the last meeting. So in the main, the economic activity data have been stronger than expected. The NIPA revision was stronger. Certainly the September employment report was stronger. The October report, not stronger. Retail sales stronger. So overall, though, I think you take away a sense of some of the downside risks to economic activity having been diminished with the NIPA revisions in particular. And so overall, feeling good about economic activity. So I think we would factor that in. At the same time, we got one inflation report, which wasn't terrible, but it was a little higher than expected. So I think really the question is December, and by December we'll have more data. I guess one more employment report, two more inflation reports, lots of other data, and we'll make a decision
double
as we get to December.
Gina. Shh. Shh.
Gina Smilik from the New York Times. Thanks for taking our questions, Chair Powell.
Gina.
When it comes to December, what will you be looking at specifically as you try to make that decision? And then as of the Fed's economic projections in September, you had written down 4 quarter-point interest rate cuts in 2025. Do you still think that those are likely? Is that sort of the baseline outlook at this point, or has that shifted? And if it shifted at all, can you give a little bit of detail as to why?
Gina.
I can't. We don't fill out an SEP, and I can't characterize one that wasn't filled out today. So I can't really speak for kind of exactly where the committee is.
No follow-up.
I would just say
Gina.
for December, we're going to be, again, at every meeting, we're going to be looking at the incoming data and how that affects the outlook. As you know, we're in the process of recalibrating.
Oh, wait till Asian Gina
Wait
till Asian Gina.
After today's move,
Know what you think about her.
basis points. And we're asking ourselves, is that where we need to be? You know that we're trying to steer between the risk of moving too quickly and perhaps undermining our progress on inflation, or moving too slowly and allowing the labor market to weaken too much. We're trying to be on a middle path where we can maintain the strength in the labor market while also enabling further progress on inflation. We think that's where we are, but that's the question we're going to be asking in September and in other meetings. And again, I can't really update you on the committee's thinking because we don't fill out an SEP at this meeting.
Yeah, totally appreciate that. I guess when it comes to your own thinking, do you think that a full percentage point of rate cuts in 2025 is a reasonable outlook?
Again, we're going to wait and see how things come in December. I mean, it's just, I would put it this way. We're on a path to a more neutral stance. And that's very much what we're on. That has not changed at all since September. We're just going to have to see where the data lead us. We have, a whole 6 weeks of data to look at to make that decision in December. Obviously, I'm not ruling it out or in, but I would say, I would say that, again, we didn't update the SEP, so I'm not going to characterize, where the committee would be.
Howard.
Thanks, Howard Schneider with Reuters. I wondered if you could please elaborate and explain
You
a
can see
little bit.
Colby right there.
2 changes in the language of the statement here. In the first paragraph,
Who's
you
that
say
girl?
inflation has made progress, dropping
Second
the word
row.
further progress. And in the second paragraph, dropping the sentence that the committee had gained greater confidence that inflation was progressing towards its 2% goal. Is there any policy substance behind either of those changes in language? Is it meant to open the door to a December pause? Is it meant to communicate anything about the stickiness of core inflation in the last 3 months?
Not really, no. So let me tell you what we were thinking. So the test of gaining
I know, right, Blaze?
further confidence.
Never saw her before.
Was our test for the first rate cut, right?
I
And
know.
so we met that test in September, and therefore we
See if
take
she
that
gets to
test
ask
out.
a
If you
question.
leave it in,
Because she's not one of the normies.
it's new forward guidance. It's brand new forward guidance. What do you mean by it? Are you requiring yet further? We have to say yes or no at every meeting whether we've made further progress. The point is we have gained confidence that we're on a sustainable path down to 2%. So that I would tell you is what that's really all about. It's not meant to send a signal. Neither of those is meant to send a further signal. And saying further progress, it becomes a test. We don't want to be. We don't think it's a good time to be doing a lot of forward guidance. There's a fair amount of uncertainty in what I've said. The path that we're on, we do know where the destination is, but we don't know the right pace, and we don't know exactly where the destination is. So the point is to find the right pace and the right destination as we go.
Give her some Doge.
And I think there's a fair amount of uncertainty about that. And you don't want to tie yourself up with guidance. You want to be able to make sensible decisions as you go.
Steve Leisman, CNBC. Mr. Chairman, you talked about higher rates, perhaps from an expectation of higher growth. You didn't talk about it in terms of
Here you go, girls.
expectations
For you.
of higher deficits. Is that something you think might be behind the recent rise in interest rates? And is that
I know.
rising deficits a concern to you?
So we don't comment on fiscal policy. And again, I don't have a lot more to say on what's driving bond yields. In terms of policy changes, though, let me give you a sense of how this works in the ordinary case. Let's say Congress is considering a rewrite of the tax laws. Doesn't matter what's in the content. So we would follow that. At a certain point, we'd think we see the outlines, so we'd start to model it. And then we'd wait, and then at a certain point, the staff would brief.
Bitcoin still holding
FOMC and
76K.
say, you know, these are the likely effects. There's lots and lots of literature on the effects of tax policy changes on various parts of the economy. So we try to get smart on that, and then the law actually passes. And you'd start to put it. You'd probably run an alternative simulation before that happens, just to keep people trying to understand it. Then when it actually passes, it goes into the model, along with a million other things. So, we have a very large economy. Many things are affecting it at any given time. And, a law change of some kind would go in there, but it would, it's a process that takes some time. Clearly, the legislative process takes a lot of time. And of course, the real question is not the effect of that law. It's all of the policy changes that are happening. What's the net effect? And, the overall effect on the economy at any given time. So I think that's a process that takes a lot of time and that we go through all the time with every administration constantly. And this will be no different. But, right now there's nothing to model right now. It's such an early stage. We don't know what the policies are. And once we know what they are, we won't have a sense of, when they'll be implemented or all those sorts of things. So I think I would just say we're not doing that now, and all that will take time. And it will be very much regular order when we do that.
If I could just follow up on Nick's question, are the current rates something you feel like you need to lean against, in that they go against the direction of policy by adding restriction to the economy, or do you just take them as a given and perhaps a signal that you should do less?
Yeah, Jason. Right.
I just think the first question is, how long will they be sustained? If you remember the 5% 10-year, people were drawing massively important conclusions, only to find, 3 weeks later, the 10-year was 50 basis points lower. So, it's material changes in financial conditions that last, that are persistent, that really matter. And we don't know that about these. What we've seen so far, we're watching it, we're reading, we're doing the decompositions and reading others, but right now it's not a major factor in how we're thinking about things.
Kriss, that's me.
Thank you, Kriss Rugaber at Associated Press.
Different guy.
You mentioned the positive economic data that we
Thought I was going to get a question in.
Meeting, including the revisions to things like savings, higher GDP growth. We saw a stock market jump yesterday. That's renewed some of the questions about why do many cuts at all in this with this backdrop.
So you're right. As I mentioned, and as you mentioned, the latest economic data have been strong, and that's, of course, a great thing and highly welcome. But of course, our mandate is maximum employment and price stability. And we think that even with today's cut, policy is still restrictive. We understand it's not possible to say precisely how restrictive, but we feel that it is still restrictive. And if you look at our goal variables, the labor market has cooled a great deal from its overheated state of 2 years ago and is now essentially in balance. It is continuing to cool, albeit at a modest rate. And we don't need further cooling, we don't think, to achieve our inflation mandate. So that's the labor market. Inflation has moved down a great deal from its highs of 2 years ago. And we judged, as I mentioned, that it's on a sustainable path back to 2%. So the job's not done on inflation. But if you look at those two
job's
things,
not done.
We judged in September that it was appropriate to begin to recalibrate our policy stance to reflect this progress. And today's decision is really
just wait, Ron.
In that
just
process.
Wait.
Overall, as I mentioned,
Another one's
we
coming.
believe that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, we can maintain strength in the labor market, even as our policy stance enables further progress toward our inflation goal.
Great. And just to follow up, what might cause you to pause rate cuts in December? What kind of economic data would lead you to that path? Thank you.
So we haven't, made any decision like that at all. But we're in the process, as I mentioned, of moving policy down, our stance down over time to more neutral level. And as a general matter, as we move ahead, we are prepared to adjust
Bitcoin
our
going
assessments of the appropriate pace and destination.
Look at Bitcoin
as
going
the
up
outlook evolves.
as
So,
predicted.
for example, if we were to see the labor market deteriorating, we'd be prepared to move more quickly. Alternatively, as we approach levels that are plausibly neutral or close to neutral, it may turn out to be appropriate to slow the pace at which we're dialing back restriction. Again, haven't made any decisions about that, but that's certainly a possibility. If you can think of it as similar to what we do with asset purchase, with asset runoff, with QT. So we reach a point where we slow the pace, much like an airplane reaching the airport slows down. And so we're thinking about it that way, but it's something that we're just beginning to think about.
Edward. Thanks, Chair Powell. So
Thanks, Chair Powell.
with the noise in the jobs reports that we've seen, and you look at the Fed's favorite inflation, PCE inflation, overall it's 2.1%, very close to the Fed's target, but core inflation is 2.7%, and it's been that way since July. So why doesn't this data give fuel to a rate pause for this meeting?
Well, so I think if you look at the 3 and 6 month,
Who's the girl in the green coat?
So we look at all of them, right? But if you look at the 3 and 6 month core PCE, you'll see they're around 2.3%. So we look at all of them, and we look at 12 as well. But what it's telling us is that we really have made significant progress, and we expect there to be bumps. For example, the last 3 months of last year, the core PCE readings were very, very low, probably unsustainably low. So that's why forecasts generally see a couple of upticks toward the end of the year. On the other hand, the January reading certainly looks like an example of residual seasonality, so that we saw last year. So when that falls out of the 12-month calculation in February, we should see a thing down. So it'll literally be a bump up and then down. We understand that. Overall, you see the progress on inflation, and you also look at the economy and you say, what is the inflation story now? Where's it coming from? So I point to a couple of things. One is the non-housing services and goods, which together make up 80% of the core PCE index, are back to the levels they were at the last time we had sustained 2% inflation, which happens to be in the early 2000s for a period of 5, 6, 7 years. So they're back to that level. What's not is housing services. So let's talk about housing services. Housing services is higher. What's going on there is, market rents, newly signed leases are experiencing very low inflation. And what's happening is older, leases that are turning over are taking several years to catch up to where market leases are, market rent leases are. So that's just a catch problem. It's not really reflecting current inflationary pressures. It's reflecting past inflationary pressures. So that's one thing. The other thing is I'd say look at the labor market, not a source of inflationary pressures. Where's it coming from? It's not a very tight economy. What is the story about inflation? You see that catch-up inflation also in insurance. And
he's not hawkish or dovish. He's just kind of.
We're not declaring victory, obviously, but
just right in the middle.
Is very consistent with inflation continuing to come down on a bumpy path over the next couple of years.
25 basis points, bro, as expected.
That story is intact, and it won't be 1 or 2 really good data months or bad data months aren't going to really change the pattern at this point now that we're this far into the process.
So you're quickly trying to get to that neutral rate that you see, or do you foresee that you have some time to get there?
Nothing in the economic data suggests that the committee has any need to be in a hurry to get there. We are seeing strong economic activity. We are seeing ongoing strength in the labor market. We're watching that carefully, but we do see maintaining strength there. And so we think that the right way to find neutral, if you will, is carefully, patiently. Again, that's not meant to have a specific meaning, other than to the extent the economy remains strong, we have the ability to take advantage of that as we try to navigate that middle path between the two risks.
Craig.
Hi, Chair Powell. Craig Torres from Bloomberg.
Powell.
2 questions today. Did you learn anything about what Americans think about the economy from the election results? First question. Second question. I want to talk about some labor market indicators. And I do so with great respect for your attentiveness to the maximum employment side of the mandate, Chair Powell. So the unemployment rate has been at 4% or higher for 6 months. One of the broadest measures of unemployment is about 0.5 point from a year ago. compensation gains are sliding back. The quits rate, a signal of labor market dynamism, has been heading down to that bad neighborhood.
Did she have her hand raised? I didn't see Jay.
So you have put a marker at Jackson Hole saying any further cooling is unwelcome. It is cooling generally a little bit further. So at what point do we reach what you would describe as a shortfall from maximum employment? Thank you.
Sure. So on your first question, I'm not going to talk about anything that relates directly or indirectly to the election. On the second one, this is the great question, and so one we think about all the time. So I'll just say a couple things. There's nothing really surprising here. What we know is that the unemployment rate is low. How you doing? We also know that it's come down significantly. Moved up significantly from
Carlos,
a year or
welcome.
so ago. So we've seen a big change upward in unemployment. Sometimes that has meant bad things. So far, it doesn't appear to be. It appears that I wouldn't say that the labor market is fully stabilized, because I do think it's continuing to very gradually cool, but it seems to be in a good place. And our policy, of course, is designed
Bitcoin
to
trading as
to maintain
predicted.
the strength of the labor market, while also enabling further progress on inflation.
We would see it go down and up. Didn't quite dip as much as I thought, but it is coming back up.
The opening
totally
as
as predicted.
To a normal level. I would characterize it more broadly as normalizing. You mentioned wages. Wages are still running just a bit above where they would need to be consistent with 2% inflation, unless productivity is going to remain at this high level. If we see productivity
and Doge is just following Bitcoin
at these high levels, then that would sustain higher wage gains. So I would say, in fact, you can say it the other way, that wage increases are now consistent with 2% inflation given current productivity readings. But of course, the lore on productivity
Trump may
readings
keep
is
Powell
whenever
around.
you see high readings, you should assume they're
That might be all right.
Revert pretty quickly to the longer term trend. That has always been the case for 50 years. But
I think his contract is through 2026.
The NIPA revisions that came out a month ago, we're 5 years into a nice set of productivity readings, which are sustained and very healthy. But overall, it's a good labor market. We could talk about 20 different data series. We'll be looking at all of them, of course. We don't want the labor market to soften much from here. We don't think we need that to happen to get inflation back to 2%.
Victoria. Hi, Victoria Guido with Politico. Some of the president's-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Wow.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio and Television. You talk a lot about what the data are telling you and how you are dependent on the data.
That was huge, what just happened.
Assessments of the economy. What are you hearing from CEOs or officials around the country? What did you hear today from the regional bank presidents about what companies and consumers think about where the economy is going from here, rather than looking backwards? And does that match
to Victoria's
up
question?
with what your
We'll have to go back to that.
The appropriate policy path should be.
He said no.
It's hard to characterize.
We'll go back to Victoria's question. We'll replay it.
We had, and of course you'll see them in the minutes in 3 weeks. But I would say this: I think the comments from our Reserve Bank colleagues and from the CEOs that they talk to.
That's going to be all over X Twitter.
Pretty constructive.
That right there.
The labor market is back to normal, to the point where it's no longer that much of a discussion topic in their world. Whereas 2 years ago, it was all they were talking about. So they feel like the labor market's in balance. People feel good about where the economy is. Demand is obviously pretty strong. And you're seeing.
Yeah, Powell has a contract through 2026, and it's supposed to be outside of the White House. So
this is a strong economy.
Powell may be correct. He does not have to go if Trump asks him.
Has been performing with strong growth, a strong labor market, inflation coming down. We're really performing better than any of our global peers. And I think that is reflected in what you hear from what I hear people hear from CEOs. I don't get to talk to a lot of CEOs in my job, but I hear what others summarize from those. And of course, I hear the Reserve Bank presidents do a lot of that. And it's pretty constructive overall. Now, that's not to say there are areas of caution and things like that, but ultimately, overall, pretty positive.
Well, to follow up the areas of caution, if there were black clouds on the horizon that you identified as something you're watching, what would they be?
I think it's things like clearly geopolitical risks around the world are elevated. And just as clearly, they've had relatively little effect on the U.S.
Corey,
economy.
they lowered
Now,
25 basis points
through
as
the price of oil or otherwise.
predicted. But the big news
people
was
talk
the
about
question
those
that was
as,
just
you know,
asked of
something that's
whether
on the horizon
Powell would leave
all
if
the
Trump
time.
asked him to. And he said
But
no.
Ultimately, if you look at the U.S. economy, its performance has been very good, and that's what we hear from business people, and expectation that will continue. If anything, people feel next year. I've heard this from several people that next year could even be stronger than this year.
Andrew.
Hi, it's Andrew Ackerman with the Washington Post. I just wanted to follow up on the discussion earlier on fiscal policy. Your predecessors, Greenspan and Volcker, spoke up loudly when they thought large budget deficits endangered financials.
XRP is a stable coin, Nick.
Will you do that too?
It'd be tough for it to get to $1.
Right now, we're in a period of full employment. We have large budget deficits and debt at historic highs that are rising. Is that something you'd speak out against?
So, I have said many times, no more, no less than what the predecessors you mentioned have said. And what that is that the U.S. fiscal government's fiscal
That's what I say, Dick.
fiscal policy is
all the
sustainable
XRP
path.
Army moon
The level of
boys
our debt
think
ultimately
$4,
is not
even
unsustainable.
higher.
The path
It's just
is
like,
unsustainable, and we see that in you've
and
got
every
a very large
BitBoy
deficit at
XRP video that comes out,
that's
it's just a
expected to
joke.
continue. So it's important that we that to be dealt with. It is ultimately a threat to the economy. Now I can say that I don't have
Doge.
oversight. We don't have oversight over fiscal policy. I've said it on many occasions. Just said it again.
Okay, thank you. I guess the other question is to follow up on Victoria's question.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Not what?
Not permitted under the law.
Thank you.
Courtney.
Wow.
Courtney Brown from Axios. In response to Howard's question, you said it wasn't an ideal time to give forward guidance because of the economic uncertainties. Can you lay out what some of those uncertainties are and whether or not it includes some of the proposals that the president-elect has put out on the campain trail?
$4 was the all-time high, I think, on XRP back in 2017. I think that's why you see the $4 number, something like that when it spiked up back then.
What I'm saying is, as we look ahead, we know, as I mentioned this in my statement, that the risks are two-sided. I guess I should start by saying that we think that the economy and we think our policy are both in a very good place,
We'll start looking at some of this other stuff once the Q&A here is
as you
done.
look forward, you say, what are the risks? And one risk is that we would move too quickly and find ourselves having moved too quickly, and inflation comes back, and we lost
Not
our chance
permitted
to
under the law.
So we have to avoid that risk, and to avoid that risk, that means you want to move carefully. The other risk is that we move too slowly, and that we allow the labor market to weaken too much and do unnecessary damage to the labor market and to people's working lives. That says don't get behind the curve. So these two things are,
and he said no,
two risks
Jay.
that we have to manage. And so we're
He
in
said
the
he would
middle.
not.
We try to be in the middle and deal with manage both of those. Again, the idea is to maintain, support the strength.
We'll follow up XYG afterwards, but that was a bombshell.
With somewhat less restrictive, but still restrictive policy.
Hey, there's a girl over on the edge.
Further progress toward our 2% inflation goal. This is a thing where we're meeting by meeting, we're going to be making our assessment of what the right path is. It's not as important.
2026. That's what I thought too,
The timing
Roger.
of these things is not as important as the overall arc of them. And the arc of them is to move from where we are now to a sense of neutral, a more neutral policy. We don't know exactly where that is. We only know it by its works. We're pretty sure it's below where we are now. But as we move further, there will be more uncertainty about where that is. And we're going to move carefully as this goes on so that, we can increase the chances that we will get it right.
Simon.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Simon Urbanovich with The Economist.
Chair Powell.
I know you don't want to share your decomposition of bond yields, but if you look at the break
Bond yields.
it is
Come on.
longer-term inflation expectations.
That's sexy.
Seem to have risen.
Bond yields.
Up at about 2.5%, for example, on the 5-year. That's up half a point from when you cut in September. Do you have any concern at all that longer-term inflation expectations are de-anchoring, or put another way, are anchoring at a slightly higher level? Thanks.
So we would be concerned if we thought we saw longer term inflation expectations anchoring at a higher level. That's not what we're seeing. We're still seeing between surveys and market readings broadly consistent with, I looked at the 5-year earlier today and it's probably moved, but it's kind of right where it's been. And also it's pretty close to consistent with 2% PCE inflation. So that's one that's been a traditional one that we look at a lot. But overall, expectations seem to be, and really have throughout this, in a place that's consistent with 2% inflation. But you're right to say we watch that very carefully, and we will not allow inflation expectations to drift upward. But that's really why we reacted so sharply back in 2022 was to avoid that.
Kelly.
Here she is.
Hi, Chair Powell. Kelly O'Grady,
Kelly.
CBS News. We just talked about what you've heard from business leaders.
Hi,
in the
Kelly.
economy, but many average Americans are still not feeling the strength of the economy in their wallets. So what's your message to them on when they might expect relief?
So you're right that we say the economy is performing well, and it is, but we also know that people are still feeling the effects of high prices, for example, and the world went through a global inflation shock, and inflation went up everywhere, and it stays with you because the price level doesn't come back down. So what that takes is it takes some years of real wage gains for people to feel better. And
She's wearing a green jacket.
That's what we're trying to create, and I think we're well on the road to creating that. Inflation has come way down. The economy is still strong here. Wages are moving up, but at a sustainable level. So it's just, I think what needs to happen is happening, and for the most part.
What was the question again?
But it'll be some time before people, regain their confidence and feel that. And we don't tell people how to feel about the economy. We completely respect what they're feeling. Those feelings are true. They're accurate. We don't question them. We respect them.
And just a quick follow-up, President-elect Trump has been critical of your performance. Any concern about his influence on the Fed's independence?
I'm not gonna get into any of the political things here today, but thank you.
Hi, Chair Powell. Nancy Marshall-Genzer with Marketplace. What is your plan?
And they follow up with Nancy.
Stagflation.
So that's the whole plan is not to have a stagflation. So we don't have to
Thanks,
deal with
Nick.
it. So that is actually our plan. It's of course a very difficult thing because anything you do with interest rates will hurt one side or the other, either the inflation mandate or the employment mandate. I would just say that we've been able to see inflation come down a whole lot, much closer to our goal.
Yeah, I don't know, Nick. I think Powell's doing a good job. I think it's just a question that they're going to ask.
Programs of disinflation. So, knock on wood, we've gotten this far without seeing a real weakening.
I don't think we're going to dump after this, Daniel.
We believe we can complete the inflation task while also keeping the labor market strong, and that, of course, is exactly what we're trying to do.
Can you rule out an interest rate hike next year?
No,
I wouldn't rule anything out or in that far away.
Got to see the data.
That's certainly not our plan. I mean, our baseline expectation is that will continue to move gradually down towards neutral, that the economy will continue to grow at a healthy clip, and that the labor market will remain strong. If you look at our that will not change from the September SEP. That is our baseline forecast, and short of some exogenous event, that will continue to be our forecast for the foreseeable future. So, but ultimately, we're not in a world where we can afford to rule things out a full year in advance. There's just too much uncertainty in what we do.
Let's go to Jean for the last question.
Hi, Chair Powell. Jean Young with MNI Market News. I wanted to go back to a comment that you
Hi,
made
Jean.
about
How are you?
Americans being quite unhappy about the cumulative price level rises over the past few years, even though now inflation is back on a path to 2%. Would it be appropriate for the Fed to undershoot for a while on its inflation goal under the average inflation targeting regime, so people have a chance to catch up?
No, that's not the way our framework works. We're aiming for inflation at 2%. We did not think it would be appropriate to deliberately undershoot. And part of the problem there is that low inflation can be a problem too, in a way. But that's not part of our framework, and it's not something we're going to be looking at in our framework review. Thank you very much.
And he exits out the door. So there you go. And look what Bitcoin did. Recovered all the way back up and is now
Thank you, Kriss Rugaber.
looking at all-time highs again. Oh, there's Gina. We got to look at Gina again. And then we'll go to Victoria.
Diminished with the Nipper. We got one inflation report, which wasn't terrible, but it was a little higher than expected.
And then Kelly,
So
yeah.
I think really the question is December, and by December we'll have more data. I guess one more employment report, two more inflation reports, and lots of other data. And we'll make a decision
highlight time.
as we get to December.
Highlight time. Gina.
Gina Smilik from the New York Times. Thanks for taking our questions, Chair Powell. When it comes to December, what will you be looking at specifically as you try to make that decision? And then as of the Fed's economic projections in September, you had written down 4 quarter-point interest rate cuts in 2025.
She's number one.
Do you still?
All right. We got to go to Victoria, and then we'll go to Kelly. Where was Victoria?
Something that we're just beginning to think about.
Edward.
Thanks, Chair Powell.
Is that after Victoria or before? I thought that was after. Oh, there she is, right there. Are you ready, guys?
You to leave, would you go?
1428.
Given current
All right, this is it.
productivity readings, but of course, the lore on productivity readings is whenever you see high readings,
This is the highlight,
you should
Nick.
assume they're going to
This is the big news event of
the longer term trend. That has always been
the
case
press
for
conference.
50 years.
It's Victoria's
But,
question
it may be that
and
in
how
5 years, if you look at
Powell
the NIPA
answers
revisions that
the
came out
question.
a month ago, we're 5 years into a nice set of productivity readings, which are sustained and very healthy. But overall, it's a good labor market. We could talk about 20 different data series. We'll be looking
All right,
at all
are
of
you
them,
ready?
of course.
Here it comes.
But we don't want the labor market to soften much from here. We don't think we need that to happen to get inflation back to 2%.
Victoria.
Listen.
Hi, Victoria Guido with Politico. Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Mike.
There it is.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio and Television.
Wow. Wow. And look at that. Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high. Guys, Look at that. Bitcoin, new all-time high. Let's move it up. Move it up. 76,820. Bitcoin, new all-time high. So, to sum up, 5-minute chart, look at what the prediction was. Look at how Bitcoin traded. Almost exactly like the prediction. And in fact, went up a little higher. I thought it would probably move off to the right a bit, and it just went right back up and hit a new all-time high. That is strong, strong for Bitcoin. Look at that. I mean, that's textbook. S&P 500 just rocketing up. Look at that, 59.90 for S&P 500. I guess they think that Powell's talk there is very, very good. Look at that, just powering up. NASDAQ, still relatively flat. Dow Jones, somewhat flat. Gold going, look at gold. $2,700 for gold. The DXY down, that's good. Tesla stock, almost to $300. Just about touched it this morning. It was at 299.7. Tesla stock going up. And Doge just isn't doing much. Doge is just kind of hanging out right now. I don't follow silver. I don't even know what the silver ticker is. I don't know what the silver ticker is. Silver in US ounce. There you go. 32. Silver's over 32. So yeah, silver and gold. And Bitcoin just hit another new all-time high, 76,930. Look at that. New all-time high again for Bitcoin. Can we get to 77K? Look at that. Wow. That's why we were watching Bitcoin instead of Doge for this live stream, is we knew Bitcoin was going to do some spicy trading. And not only has that happened, but new all-time high following the Jerome Powell speech and Q&A. So that was fun, huh? That was fun. The market cap of Bitcoin is more than silver. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Doge just kind of hanging out. That's all right. Doge will go on its run when it goes. ETH 2,900. Look at ETH move up. That is strong for ETH. Cardano getting closer to 40. See that blue line? That's our target. 40 cents. It's getting close. And Solana at 197, kind of hanging out there. And question on AVAX. AVAX just kind of going sideways. Just kind of going sideways. So, but all eyes on Bitcoin as it pushes toward $77,000. Yeah, what about SHIB? Yeah, SHIB's going sideways too, right around 19. Not really moving much. Not really moving much. 77K, we're almost there. Almost there. Yes, the 25 basis points rate cut is what we just got. And look at this, 76,990. Bitcoin, new all-time high, pushing to 77. 76,990. I keep pushing my yellow line up. So close. So close. Doge, 43 cents. We'll be watching it. We'll be watching it. Good news, Randy. Overall good news. The 25 basis point rate cut was as expected. We thought already priced in, but obviously Bitcoin is responding very positively. I mean, there's so many other good things going on for Bitcoin. And Jerome Powell's comments, as well as the Q&A, was generally pretty positive. So, yeah. Tesla will be over 300 post-market. I think so. Right now, it is 299.48. 299.48. We got about 40 minutes to go in stock trading for the day. Yeah, Doge is just taking a little nap right now, Moreno. Doge taking a little nap. ETH up to 2,900. Yep, just passed it. 2,900 ETH. So if we look at the ETH Bitcoin trading pair, it's going up. Of course, you zoom out to the 4-hour and you're like, it's got a long ways to go to recover. ETH does. This is the ETH Bitcoin trading pair. Is this. It's just been down, 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 down. So a long ways to go for ETH to recover versus Bitcoin. But right now, all eyes on Bitcoin as it marches up towards $77,000 a Bitcoin. Good day. ADA, not quite to 40 cents. It's close, very close. Everything's going up because of the girls. Yeah. Yeah, because of the girls. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Yes, we will see ETH back up to all-time high and possibly 5K sometime in 2025. I do believe it. Yep. Sheeb needs to get back to 4 zeros and 20. Gina, Colby, and Kelly. You got to include Kelly now. We've got a Kelly. We've got a Kelly. ETH people should just sell and come over to Doge. Well, I mean, that would have been a good move to make about a year ago, was to sell your ETH and get into Doge when just over a year ago, you could have gotten Doge at 6 cents. That would have been the time to flip over. Doge has completely outperformed ETH in the past year and probably will continue. But right now, ETH is up. Bitcoin's up. Doge is kind of resting. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Everybody, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, or like the stream. Appreciate it. I think following up from the FOMC again, 25 basis point, what was predicted. Now we can look at the next rate cut, what we think is a rate cut. I don't know. What do you think? December 18th. What is the prediction? The prediction is, what is the current number now? 450 to 475. They still need to update this. So 66% is another 25 basis point, is what CME and their FedWatch tool is looking at. 66%. We know this will change over time. For another 25 basis point rate cut, and that will be on December 18th, will be the next FOMC. 66%. We go to Polymarket and let's search December 18th. And what is Polymarket saying? Polymark has 69%. 69% are betting on a 25 basis point cut, further cut on Polymarket for December 18th FOMC. So that is what is going on there. Here we were zoomed in, watching. The trend was up into the Fed rate decision. So I predicted we would see a drop into 230 and then move back up. And it followed it pretty close. Followed it pretty close. So 100 million sheep. How much? I don't even remember now. I gotta look, because I've got a big bag of sheep. Maybe better. Sheep. Yes, I have over 100 million sheep. Yeah, everybody does. 100 million sheep isn't really that much. Some of these news stories make such a big deal about, like, the sheep dev team burning 100 million sheep, and it's just like, no, you got to burn billions to make a difference. You've got to burn billions of sheep. So for it to make any difference. But it's a start, Jay. So we'll give him a break. Street Bill Garage is starting, so that's okay. Oh, you're talking about yourself. You've got 5 million sheep. Just a little bit of your portfolio. Just a little bit of sheep. I got it now. Yep. I've got it now. Shorting the market for us now will only make a bigger squeeze later. I know, and we saw some big shorts getting totally liquidated here. Let's update our heat map here on the Bitcoin. And we'll see a bunch of shorts got liquidated, but the next level, 76,950 still in play. 76,9, well, this went up to 76,990. Maybe it's not quite up to the minute yet, but yeah, that would have gotten liquidated too. That would have gotten liquidated. Overall, though, in the past hour, $2.7 million Bitcoin shorts liquidated. And you can see live what's happening here. As Doge goes down, some of the long leverage trades, the more recent ones, are getting liquidated. As Doge retracing a little bit. What do I think about Fetch? So we had the merge, right? With Ocean and what was it, Singularity, right? Into the super intelligent AI thing, super artificial intelligence. And Fetch has done okay. If we look at the daily chart, we can see that, comparatively since the dip in August, I think most things are up since then, but Fetch is doing okay. It did run up a little higher here, the end of September, which is contrary to like Bitcoin, which has continued up higher since then and has continued higher highs, but Fetch did not, and Fetch is now doing lower highs. So Fetch has gone in an opposite direction from Doge and Bitcoin over the past month. But a lot of other alts have also done that. So it's not like it's just selling off on its own. But compared to Dogecoin and Bitcoin, Fetch has lost a lot of ground over the past month. Is it a good play into 2025? Probably, following that merge. It's a big AI play, and what's going to happen with AI and crypto, and how does that even work? I don't know. SHIB ran up and then has gone sideways since then. So SHIB is generally treading water for a month, which is odd with a meme token like SHIB to just go sideways like that. But Doge ran up. So why is Doge stagnant? Well, it's just because it just had this huge run up. It's not unexpected for then Doge to just kind of settle and go sideways for a bit. And that's kind of what it's doing. It's going sideways. They had to go with 25 basis point as the last 50 cut spooked the market a bit. I know they should have done a 25 basis rate cut back in July. And I think when they did the September cut of 50, they were making up for the 25 they didn't do in July. That's what I think. And I said that at the time, last month. I said, yeah, it should have been 25 in July, then 25 in September. And now we see 25 here in November. So the next one will be December 18th. Tom says Doge will skyrocket soon. Liquidity increasing nicely. I know we took out so many shorts. So many shorts got wrecked with that big run up. Hayden, been holding Doge for a couple of years. No rush. We'll be talking about selling targets beginning tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be on at 4 o'clock live stream. We're going to be covering a lot of Dogecoin stuff and also have the AMA, where maybe we can revisit some of today's events. Everyone's going to be talking about Powell and him just saying no if Trump asks him to leave, or someone in the Trump administration. He's just going to say no. And I guess he has a legal right to that position to hold it through 2026. That was cool to see that live, to be live watching that when it happened. It was like, wow. It was great for that woman, Victoria, to ask that question. That was a good one. And then they went into bonds and things like that. And it was like, wow, come on, ask the good, juicy questions. Of course, our girl in the green jacket, Kelly, went to like the American Consumer because she's with CBS. And so probably isn't really a finance person, but just got put on the finance gig there. Because I had not seen her before. She was new. Kelly. Kelly. I strongly believe we might hit 100K by end of year. Yes, Jay, I'm calling it as well. 100K by the end of the year. What's better, Doge or Sheep? Why not have a little of both? Why not have a little of both? Then, if one goes crazy, you're in it. That's why I also own some Sheep, but I'm much more heavily in Doge. Because Doge has Elon, Sheep doesn't. You think Sheep's going to break out here soon? I'm ready. I'm ready. If we look at the Sheep chart, we look at where it was back in March, and it's just like, man, let's get back there. That big run, that huge run that we had in March, up to 45. It's like, yes, please, let's do that again. But now, instead of bouncing off of 9, which is where it was here, we'll be starting from 19. So could go even higher. Could go even higher. So we'll see how that goes. I guess ETH is retracing a little bit. Big leverage position on ETH just got wiped out. Yeah. Somebody just did a huge leverage position on ETH at 2,900. And they had 2885 as a 2884 as a stop loss. Degens out there gambling on leverage, crypto leverage. Whew. Yeah, we'll get into more detail on this in tomorrow's live stream, like what's going to happen trading over the weekend. But yeah, I tend to think now that there's going to be a cool off. And then we'll pump again. When will be a good time to buy more Doge? You just look for the dips. Best I can say, look for the dips. This morning, Doge dipped down here to 18.5. Right there. Right there, we had 18.5. I don't know if you're going to see 17-cent Doge again. I don't know. Right now, I don't see any big negative news event that would cause the crypto market to do a big dip. I don't see it. I mean, Bitcoin is still riding this wave up here to new all-time highs. Again, could take a breather up here. But I don't think we're going to see a huge dip. We know Donald Trump is going to be the next US president. Markets generally like that certainty. You know what's going to happen now. There wasn't a prolonged follow-on after Election Day with votes being recounted and legal challenges or any of that. So that's good. And the markets like that. The markets like that a lot. I mean, look at the S&P 500. It just ran up to 59.90. Now taking a breather, profit taking happens. We see that. DJT stock is down to 28.50. Wow. 28.50, down 20% today. MicroStrategy hit 275. Loving that. Tesla didn't quite make 300. It's still at 299 for Tesla stock. Doge to 30 cents next week. That'd be sweet, Roz. I don't know if there's going to be enough momentum for a big run on Doge yet, but We don't know. What's Elon going to say? Isn't he going to say something? Because Elon was... See what's happening in the world. Argentine President Milei to meet with Elon Musk and Trump next week. That's cool. Wonder what John Deaton's going to do now. What's John Deaton going to do now? He didn't beat Warren. Alt season hasn't even begun. Biden to focus on avoiding government shutdown. Is there a government shutdown coming? Huh. That would be bad. There it is, Clown World. Breaking. Powell says he would not resign as Fed chair if Trump asked for his resignation. You knew that'd be the news. We covered it live. We covered it live. I don't see anything on Elon. So. Yeah, I don't see anything. I mean, here's Crypto Rover. He's got the best charts right now. Here's election day. Here's what happened in 2016. Here's what happened in 2020 after election day. What do you think is going to happen in 2024? Crypto Rover thinks $100,000 Bitcoin. So there you go. Right now, Bitcoin's just cooling it out. 76.5. Hit a new all-time high just 20 minutes ago. 76,990. So close. And Doge is hanging, just kind of chilling out. Nick, what we should put it in? $400? Let's see. You can get 2,000 Dogecoin. A little more than that. Do you want some Doge? You can get free Doge from me if you join my channel. That's right. I'm giving away Dogecoin. Sergio, can't wait for Q1 to take profits, move to Mexico, retirement. Here we come. I'm not ready to retire yet, but sometime in 2025, I will be taking profits on most of my crypto. But it isn't for retirement. It's to get out of a mortgage. So I have a house that has no mortgage. I don't own the bank anything, which is then preparing me for a sweet retirement. So, can they buy out Powell's contract? That's a good question, little boy. I don't know. I would guess if Powell is going to be anything like we just saw him, that if somehow there was a way to force him out, he would sue. I suppose if they offered him enough money, but why would they do that? I mean, he's doing a decent job, I think. So, yeah, just stick with him. Darth Mike says, probably best to put it into ETH, mid to small cap plays, Solana, Bitcoin. But you didn't put any Doge in there, Mike. You got to have some Doge. And then I would go along with you. Wouldn't it be nice if the Trump administration got rid of capital gains tax on crypto profits? Wouldn't that be nice? We'll see. I know, Kelly, right, Vince? Kelly. We got a new one. As soon as I saw her in the background in the second row, I was like, I haven't seen her before. And we had Gina from New York Times still there. She said she's moving on to some other position, but she's still there. It was nice to see her. She talks like so crisp and so clear. Gina. That's Tom Crown's love. And there's somebody in the chat and Tom Crown's live streams who's like calls himself Gina's boyfriend. It's hilarious. Some friends of mine today asked me how to buy Bitcoin. Retail is coming to crypto. I know, Tom, those are the first signs, right? Those are the first signs. Word is getting out, and then retail will show up. And then it's going to be just like I tweeted this morning. Do you guys follow me on X? I am at KrissPax. I'm at KrissPax on X. And this is what I tweeted out. You had your chance at 8-cent Dogecoin in August, 9-cent Dogecoin in September, and a Dogecoin dipped to 10 cents in October. The crypto retail crowd will show up someday and FOMO will kick in. What are you waiting for? You guys, got to follow me on X. I got good stuff. This is a good one. This is a good one. So, but this is it. I mean, just this year, you had your chance. Dogecoin was 8 cents in early August, 9 cents in early September, and early in October, we had that dip down into the 10s. And yet you guys ask me, when's a good time to buy Dogecoin? I'm like, I know, new people showing up now. I get it. I get it. I understand. You're here now. So what are you going to do? And I say, look for the dips. Just look for the dips. This was a dip here we had this morning down to 18.5. Of course, at the time of that trading, you don't know if it's going to dip lower or not. But that's the beauty of buying anything, a stock or a crypto. You don't know what it's going to do. You make the best decision you can at the time, and you move on. And you move on. But as Stonkernaut says, of course, it's always a good time to buy Doge. All right. Do we tell retail that we're going to dump our bags on them? No, we don't. I tell you guys what my plan is, though, so. Yeah, she was. She was a new one. I hadn't seen her before. Is Doge the best coin? You are asking somebody who is biased. And I admit my complete bias toward Dogecoin. So my answer is yes. I'm thinking March, April. Yes, Jay Vanderbeek. I would agree. That's an early target. Again, a lot of people predicting Bitcoin will probably not hit its cycle all-time high till late in 2025. Again, we don't know. So that's why we're going to have a plan for profit taking along the way, because we don't know what's going to happen 2025. Joseph always buys every payday. $50 of Bitcoin, $100 of Doge, and then $100 into whatever else is currently looking good or has the biggest dip. That's not a bad strategy. It's a dollar cost average, a DCA strategy. You get paid, you take a little chunk, and you just keep DCAing, keep buying. How do we get Doge? How do you get Doge from me? Alexander asks. So you'll see a number of people in the chat have their name in green. They are members of the channel. They went to my YouTube page here, my main YouTube page, and right under my picture, there's a thing called Our Members. And you go over to the right and you click Join, and you join the channel. Everybody who is a member of the channel is going to get Dogecoin from me at the top of the bull market. We don't know when that's going to be. We'll all decide when we think the top is. Could be March or April, like was just suggested. We don't know, but we will at that time. At that time, I'm giving away this 75,000 Dogecoin that's in this portfolio right here. This is the Kriss DCA portfolio. We created this. It was me and whoever was watching my live streams at the time in the summer of 2023. So about 15 months ago, I put $10,000 into this portfolio of real money. It's a real portfolio with real purchases because we were purchasing live during the live streams on Coinbase, just to prove to everybody that it was a real portfolio. It wasn't like George's on Cryptos R Us, where his so-called portfolio is fake. He's not really buying that. We really bought it live. And the intent at that time, it still is, that whatever Doge I bought, I'm giving away. So about half of the portfolio is Doge, and the other half are a selection of different altcoins, including some Bitcoin. So we have some Bitcoin, we got Jasmy, Stacks, Sheeb, ETH, some XRP, still in the red, Algorand, Litecoin, and Sweet. That's the portfolio. So I keep all this stuff. That's mine, that's my half. But your half is going to be this Doge. I know, Allison, right? What if Dogecoin goes to $1? Is Kriss really going to give away $75,000? Yes, Kriss is. I will be giving that away. So this is a portfolio that is on CoinMarketCap. If you go to CoinMarketCap, up at the top, they have a thing called portfolio. You click on that, and you can make your own portfolio of your crypto. You just have to go in and you've got to put in each of your purchases as a transaction. You got to do this manually. But we did this last summer. Every time we DCA'd, we put it into this. And this just tracks all of the coins. Gives you live updates based on price, quantity, gives you your average price, your profit and loss on each crypto that you hold. As long as you put it all in as you bought it, then you get some great charts and graphs on your overall portfolio amount, how the performance of your portfolio is doing against Bitcoin. They compare it to Bitcoin, and they give you this nice little pie chart here of your allocation. And you can see over half of this portfolio is now Dogecoin. It wasn't over half when I bought it initially. It was less than half. But Dogecoin has outperformed most other cryptos here, except for Jasmy. We got Jasmy at 0.003. Didn't buy enough of the Jasmy at the time, but we got it at a good price. But yes, this Dogecoin, average buy price of 6 cents right here, giving that away. That is the power of Dogecoin, though, too. Dogecoin is the people's currency, right? So you use it. You tip people with it. You can pay people with it. And I will be tipping all of my channel members Dogecoin. So join the channel. Let's have some fun. Members are all in green. So if you see someone's name in green with a check mark next to their name, they are members. And they get to use some custom emojis like Moreno there with the cool Doge, the Doge wearing the glasses. Those are custom emojis. There's a whole bunch of other custom emojis that we have that you can use. Some other different Doge emojis, got a Bitcoin emoji, got Elon. Here's just some of the custom emojis that we have. Crypto Face has a charity set up. I don't know who that is, Allison. I haven't seen that. Sorry. I haven't seen that. Do you get taxed if you take out your initial investment? Yes. You get taxed on the profit on that amount. So let's say you put in $1,000 in Doge and now it's up to 3,000 and you want to take out that initial 1,000, like a third, you get taxed on the profit on that third of your amount of Doge. We will be having a special crypto Dogecoin tax live stream in December. So I do one live stream each year that's totally dedicated to taxes and particularly crypto taxes. And look for that next month. And we'll be it's so much fun. It's such a blast. It's like taxes, right? But it's important. It's important. And I do that in December. I don't wait till April when tax day is, because you can't do anything about it in April. But in December, you can, because it's still in that calendar year. And you have until December 31st to make some decisions on your taxes. And we will be having that epic live stream in December. So, Daydream asks, is it worth learning charting and all the vocabulary, or just sell green and buy red? You don't have to learn the charting if you're just, watch a bunch of people, myself, Tom Crown, others. You learn a lot there. You don't really have to learn the charting yourself. I mean, a lot of us do the charting because we have YouTube channels and we're showing other people. Others just do charting and they put them onto X. I usually looking at some other people's charts. Sometimes I post my own. Sometimes I post my own charts. But I just do that because, I've got this business going here. But for yourself, I mean, if you want to learn about charting, and I mean, it can't hurt, right? Can't hurt. You're not entering. It's just a membership. So, and I'm tipping. I'm just tipping. But thanks for warning me, Tristormed. I will take a look at that just to be sure. But I'm giving tips away is what I'm doing. How do I become a member? On the Water Asks. You go to my YouTube channel. I am Kriss on YouTube. And right underneath my picture, there's an Our Members thing, and you come over and you hit the join button. You can't do this on an iPhone in the YouTube app. They don't have this. You have to be on a PC, on a Mac, or an Android phone, or you can go to Safari and navigate your way to the YouTube website that way. But the YouTube app on an iPhone doesn't have this. I don't know why. I don't know why they do that. Probably to avoid paying the Apple fee, the 30% fee. That's my guess. Is otherwise, if they did it through that app, Apple would want 30% of those membership fees. And YouTube's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, ETH at 2,900. Look at that. ETH is still going up. Look at that. That's some strong trading there on ETH. We talked about this for the past couple months, that at some point in time, we would see a rotation. The rotation would go from Bitcoin to ETH to alts. And it looks like that rotation to ETH is now happening. With it, we're getting some benefits from Cardano. We see Cardano going up, about to eclipse 40 cents. And of course, Solana about to break $200 again for Solana. So, and then Doge just runs on its own whenever. It doesn't really follow that pattern. Doge can fly when it wants to fly, whenever its catalysts are. So that happens. Yeah, as Jason does, if you DCA every day, doesn't matter. You can do all the TA in the world, and Jason will tell you he's in a good profit. And you just buy a little every day. You get the lows and the highs. You get the dips when they happen. See, Vincent, it's like, do I see a dip soon? No, I don't. But it might. Right now, I think all the news is generally good enough that there's not going to be some huge dip. We know who the next president is going to be. I mean, there's the talk about this government shutdown that we just saw. I think that's sometime in December. And so, but I think Biden can work with Congress to avoid that shutdown. I think that would be a good thing to do for the country. But I don't see much else right now. Yeah, Charles, we're patiently waiting now. We've waited for this. We have waited for this. As I've been saying this week, it's like we were preparing for fall of 2024. And you can go back to my videos from 2 years ago where I said fall 2024. We just have to get there. And it took us a long time to get there. In March, we had this euphoria, this big run up. That was all on the backs of like Bitcoin and the spot ETFs, right? And so the rest of crypto was going up as well. But then it was a long summer, wasn't it? It was a long summer, very bearish, but still in an overall bull market trend. But I kept saying, wait until the fall. People were freaking out in May and June and July. And I'm like, it's not fall yet. It's going to happen in the fall. You can go back and you can see it on my videos, on my live streams. I was very consistent about that. And this is what we get in the fall. That's what we get. That's what we're waiting for. And October hit and boom. So we were buying on the dips, accumulating more through the summer. And sure, I bought some at 17 cents. And now look where we are. We're at 19 cents. So even at that 17 cent Dogecoin that I bought back in May, I think it was May, because there was, I don't remember where it was. I guess it was April. It was up here. It was on this dip. Bought some. And now I'm in profit on that too. I think that's the highest price I've ever paid for Dogecoin. 17 cents, but was buying on the dips throughout the summer, adding more, waiting for the fall. And here we are. Bitcoin is hanging at 76.6 now. It's still really close to the new all-time high that it just hit about 45 minutes ago at 76,990. We successfully forecast how Bitcoin would trade at today's FOMC, that it would be down between 2 o'clock and 2:30. And what did we have? It went down, and then it turned back up as predicted. That's not bad. That's not bad, as predicted. I can pat myself on the back on that one. Kriss did all right. I learned this from Tom. This was all from Tom. I take no credit in this. I stole it from Tom. But because Tom's on an Emirates flight on his way to Dubai, I'm like, okay, I'll do it this time. And it happened almost exactly like Tom would have predicted. He would have done the same thing. You've got solar power, Joe? Solar power. Look for the next dip. The next dip, blockchain. Look for the next dip. Right now, kind of going sideways. This morning, we had this dip down to 18.5. Get your note out of the way. Out of 18.5, right there, we had that dip. So look for the next one of those. Or you just do Jason's and you just DCA every day. Tom is Mr. Tom Crown. So if you search under Tom Crown, you will find Tom Crown. This is this guy, Tom Crown. Highly recommend Tom. He does some great TA stuff, but he does live streams. He also live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He does his at 1 o'clock. I do mine at 4 o'clock. And he also does the FOMC stuff. And his FOMC, I watch Tom on Thursdays or Wednesdays, whenever they are, when he does his FOMC thing, because he's very entertaining. So that's Tom Crown. But Tom also does some really great live trading. He does some really good technical analysis stuff. He strikes the fib lines. He goes through Bitcoin all the way from yearly to monthly to weekly, down to time frames, looking at the charts. And then he does suggestions on alts. He usually covers a couple alts that are, whatever is really in the news and the day, but then takes suggestions from the fam. And he passed 100,000. He's now up to 135K subs. That's awesome. So yeah, big growing following for Tom Crown. So very entertaining. So I give Tom a shout out there. But I filled in for him today on the FOMC because he wasn't doing it. And it was fun. It was fun. 4 years ago at this time, what happened? Well, we just saw it, right? Where's wasn't that one? We just saw it on this. 4 years ago at this time was 2020. Bitcoin was at a price of around $15,000. And in 56 days, that was right before, right to the end of the year, Bitcoin doubled in price. 2016, same thing happened to the end of the year. What do you think is going to happen in 2024? And why isn't Bitcoin going to hit $100,000 by the end of the year? DJT dropped to 26 now? Whoa! Look at that aftermarket. It is continuing to drop down. 2660. Somebody just got someone at $37. That was a bad limit order. Somebody just bought at 41. Who's got those OTC orders? They're getting $41. Sorry, I got to show you guys this. That's crazy. People don't know how to do this. It's like, oh my God. I watched this on Webull desktop. Come on, open up Webull. Come on. That's crazy. That is crazy. So this is Webull desktop that I use for my stock, looking at stocks. Tesla ended up at 296 and still trading 296 aftermarket, but we are watching DJT. And what the Webull gives you is, and you pay like $1 a month for this, but it's so worth it for $1 a month. You see all of the trades down here in the corner as they happen. Why did that do that? You see all the trades as they happen. 2670. But there were just a bunch of OTC trades that showed up at like $37 and $40, which was crazy. So yeah, I owned DJT. I sold it. I can show you guys exactly where I sold it because I marked it on here. I sold right where that red line is, right there, on election day morning, right there at $40.42. That's where I sold. And look, because I knew after election it was going to sell off. Election night was huge. After market, it was up at $46, $47. But then look what happened yesterday. And then look what happened today. Wow. I wonder how low it's going to go. You sold at 44. Nice swing low. Yeah, I sold here at 40. I sold that morning because I was expecting a drop off going into the election night, and it did drop off. But then after market, when the results were coming in, they were looking really good for Trump. Price just spiked up. So yeah, you sold for a good number. You must have sold right there Wednesday morning then, or you did it after market Tuesday night. But yeah, again, crypto, I don't do this kind of swing trading thing, but stocks I do, and that was one that I was like, now is it a good idea to buy it down here, $25, $26, and ride it into January 20th? Trailing stop loss at market open. Nice. So are you going to buy back in, swing low? Are you going to buy back in? Because I'm thinking of buying back in on a dip and riding it to January. See what happens. I don't know yet. Depends on what I say. I haven't decided yet. I missed out on CleanSpark because I was going to take that DJT and buy CleanSpark, and here on the Wednesday morning it had dropped down to 11.4, and I was like, well, if it gets down to $11, I'll buy. And instead it turned around and went up. So I missed out on that. Yeah, is 26 going to hold? If it gets to like 25.90, maybe. But it could still sell off more. It's getting heavily shorted. There's huge shorts on DJT. Giant shorts. And I've been stuck in a stock that had giant shorts. It was Workhorse. So a few years ago when that whole postal truck commission was out, and they have this electric truck that looked like they were going to win the US Post Office thing, and they didn't. And the shorters were all over that stock because it was so overvalued. And I was in it, and man, did it get shorted down. I don't think I want to be in the middle of that again. There's so many other things I can do with my money. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. It was fun to be in, and I made a lot of money on DJT stock. I made a lot of money on it. I bought it at $15, and then I added more at $29 before this big run up. So that was a sweet deal. Looks like crypto's just kind of taking a breather here. It was exciting afternoon, and now we're just kind of settling in. Cardano still up, close to 40 cents. Crow token still going up. Look, anybody into Crow? Kronos? Crypto.com? Crow token still going up. Typically when Crow goes up like this, it drops. So we'll see. Is Doge still number 7? No. XRP took it back over. Let's do a refresh on this and get the latest data. Refresh it. Yep, number 8. Yeah, we're now 3 billion behind XRP. In the past 24 hours, XRP is up 2% and Doge is down 1%. So Doge is in 8th. Cardano just passed Tron. Look at that. Cardano back to number 9. They just passed Tron. What's moving right now? Pepe. Pepe's on the move. Mu, Starknet, Arrow, WorldCoin, Ordi, Pith, Mog, Gala. Gala. I didn't think I would see Gala again. Top 100. Arweave, Say, and then there's Kronos right there. Making a move. That's what's moving right now. Pepe's on the move. Drift and Beam. I don't know what those are. I don't follow those. Drift. It's number 323, so it's a lower market cap. I don't even know what Drift is. You can buy it on Coinbase. I heard Nero got listed on Coinbase. Drift. What does Drift do? Ape into your favorite memes with leverage? Oh my God. Ape into your favorite memes with leverage. Wow. Where's Doge? There it is. Volume isn't as high. Solana is huge on this thing. Huge Solana. The volume is big. Doge, not that big. You are using Drift from a restricted territory. Therefore, some functions will be unavailable. Yeah, I'm in the United States. I can't use this. So there you go. And it's a low cap. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Drift. Learn something new. Thanks, Allison. Good luck with it. I won't be buying it. You trade momentum. You're a degen, Allison. You're a little degen there. I'm riding the Doge bandwagon. I did get some Pepe. I do have Bonk that I bought over a year ago because that was on the Solana thing at the time. And I have Sheep. And that's it on the memes. I don't have anything else. And I don't go chasing those low caps on the memes. Am I missing out? Yeah, I'm probably missing out. But my risk level isn't that high. I mean, just being in crypto alone is risky enough for a boomer like me. But I'm making a lot better money in crypto than if I just did the tried and true S&P 500 Vanguard, 8 to 10% a year. No, that's not good enough for me now. Is Sheep starting to move again? Yeah, look at that. Thank you. Up over 19. Look at Sheep. I tell you, Sheep is going to go on a huge run. Again, we looked at this earlier in the stream, just like it did back in late February, early March of this year. Sheep's going to do that again. And it's when you least expect it, it's just going to fly. The best coin is the one that makes money. Oh, come on. You're in it for the tech. Right, is what Dr. Mike says. You're in it for the tech. You believe. You got your 401k statement, 12% for the year. Yeah. And Dogecoin's up over 100%. So I'm just saying. Dogecoin's up over 100%. And Bitcoin is too. Sheep is at algo resistance line. If it breaks, we run. Yeah, I don't believe in that. I don't think it's time yet. Even if it goes up a little bit more by a certain line. I don't think so. I think it needs the big meme coin momentum. But we'll see. When Prudential allows crypto options, I'll put money into it. Yeah, I tried in my 401k. I tried to look at like Bitcoin ETFs, and my 401k does not offer that. Those ETFs are not offered in my 401k. That was too bad, because I was ready to like switch over from my Vanguard and Russell into Bitcoin ETF. And it's with Fidelity, and Fidelity has an ETF. Bitcoin ETF. My 401k does not allow it. Because I was ready to do it, and I'd be up so much more. I would be up so much more. But it is what it is. I've made a lot of money in my 401k over time, but it's the Vanguard Russell thing, But it just keeps going up, and my employer has a matching. So they match my 401k contributions every paycheck. That's free money. So not going to give that up. So that's my nest egg. And then I have my whole crypto portfolio, which is my sort of gambling. But I don't think it's gambling. It's like, and it's outperforming anything else I've ever invested in. So I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good. You'll be spending your Doge in pesos, Sergio? I don't know, Zhao. We'll see as we go along. We'll continue charting. Just follow along. Just follow along. We'll be talking about profit-taking strategies and all of that. Yeah, the current ETH movement, we talked about this a little bit ago. Again, I think this is a rotation from Bitcoin into ETH. Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high. There's going to be a lot of, obviously, Bitcoin holders, but the traders out there are going to be like, ETH is the next. ETH is the next big thing. So, and we also, again, I'll just zoom out to like the 2-hour chart here and look what ETH has done. I mean, Bitcoin has done well too, yes, but ETH has outperformed it. And we look at the ETH BTC trading pair and look, ETH has outperformed Bitcoin over these past 2 days, which means you're going to see the traders swapping their Bitcoin for ETH. So that is what is happening right now, is you're seeing that. And this was predicted. We just didn't know when it was really going to happen. And maybe this is just a small short-term thing, and then Bitcoin will just turn this thing back around. But we zoom out to the 4-hour chart here, and we zoom back, and we see like how much ETH has performed against Bitcoin, and it's been bad. I mean, Bitcoin has been completely outperforming ETH all year long. I thought when there was that dip back here, back in January, down below this 0.05 line, I thought, okay, that's the bottom. ETH is now going to take over. And it did for a little short while. It went on this big spike here. But then look what happened, especially over the summer. ETH tanked, total tankage. So, well, time for a comeback on ETH now, right? Maybe. And so that's what we see now is this rotation, I think, happening, along with other ETH buying going on. But that is some pretty strong trading on ETH. If the ratio goes back up to 0.6, what should the price be? I do not know how to do that math. I don't know a good way to do that math. I can say percentage-wise, 0.06, 57%. So ETH would have to be, to get to that level, probably 4,500, right near its all-time high. That's what it looks like. ETH would have to be at 4,500 to be back at an 0.6 level with Bitcoin. That makes sense. Bitcoin's hitting all-time high. ETH would hit an all-time high. It's a good call, 0.06. That's what that looks like. But yeah, this is a strong move here. Again, ETH down quite a bit from where it was back, big run up in March like everything else, but it just got killed over the summer. Just got killed. Where Bitcoin was generally in a downward channel, and we were charting all of this. We were charting the lower highs, with Bitcoin in this channel, but then Bitcoin turned around here early September, and ETH just dropped at a lower or dropped at a higher percentage and then just flattened out and didn't come back up like Bitcoin did. So, but yeah, ETH showing some strong movement up right now. Doge is just kind of hanging out at 19.3. All right, gang. Hey, thank you everyone for joining in on this great FOMC special Thursday afternoon live stream. I'll be live again Friday, 4 o'clock. Join me there. We'll be talking a lot more Doge, looking how trading will go into the weekend, as well as having a fun AMA. So join in. Hope to see you all there. Hope you all have a great evening. Till next time, we'll see you.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.